Chapter 1763, I Can Deal With. Chapter 1763, I Can Deal With. The Great Elder's power could not be weak. A disciple taking the examination actually dared to openly challenge him. This was humiliating him. As a outer door great presbyter, there had never been a single disciple in the outer sect who dared to disrespect him during the examinations throughout the years. Long Fei was the first one. This made him extremely unhappy. Of course. This made him very happy, because the more arrogant Long Fei was, the more he would have an excuse to attack Long Fei. Ma Fenglei stared deadly at Long Fei. Long Fei was also staring intently at the top of Ma Fenglei's head, the color of the name slowly changing. Xia Chuyuan immediately said, "Great clan elder, don't take young children seriously." She lowered her voice and said, "Long Fei, don't be reckless." Lu Qin, Mu Bing and the rest did not understand why Long Fei suddenly changed. It used to be completely different. In the past, Long Fei was a lot more low profile and would always let things go, but now, he felt like they were going to do something if they didn't agree with him. What was going on? Long Fei ignored him and said, "I don't know my own limits." "Then does your great elder know how high the sky is and how vast the earth is?" "I'm not a thing." "Then, you old thing, you're the one? How preposterous. How dare you? Brat, quickly shut up. Are you crazy?" Many elders shouted in a low voice. Ma Fenglei laughed coldly, and said, "Brat, you're playing with fire and burning yourself to death." He was getting more and more excited. At the same time, anger was surging as well. Long Fei sneered and said, "Great elder, the one who's going to set himself on fire is you. You control the outer sect examination, so how many divine spirit pills do you want to take from the examinees every year? 100 divine spirit pills per person, passed through the examination so easily. Great elder, you are the biggest blood-sucking bug in God Rare sect. Am I playing with fire? Have you been playing with fire for years? You're courting death." Suddenly, Ma Fenglei bellowed. Long Fei's words had already crossed his bottom line. The anger in his heart flared up. At the same time, the yellow name on top of his head instantly turned blood red. It mutated. The boss has now become a monster that can attack automatically. Long Fei's brows were tightly furrowed. He carefully stood up, and said in a low voice at the same time, "You two stay away from me." "Huh? Sovereign, what's going on?" Lu Qin asked in confusion. To offend the great clan elder in front of so many people, was this still the calm and composed Long Fei? He could even do such an irrational thing. She couldn't understand. Xia Chuyuan did the same, and softly said, "Long Fei, what are you trying to do? Don't mess around." Long Fei's mouth hooked up, and revealed a strange smile, as he said indifferently, "You're angry? Did I say it was painful? How could someone like you be worthy of being the great clan elder? Kid, you're dead meat." As soon as he finished, Ma Fenglei's figure moved, wang, an explosion sounded in the air. The sky darkened. A powerful aura that could topple mountains and overturn the seas attacked Long Fei, and it was incomparably powerful. This was a formidable power that Long Fei had never encountered before. He was shocked, so strong. Xia Chuyuan looked up and immediately blocked in front of Long Fei, saying, "Great elder, don't be angry. There must be some kind of misunderstanding." He could not let Ma Fenglei move against him. Long Fei's super talent was the only one who was able to earn back some face at the 10 sects newbie exchange this year. Ma Fenglei shouted loudly, "Xia Chuyuan, I don't care about your identity or what sort of person you are. Get lost now, do you understand?" Anger soared. Waves of heat waves swept through the air. The disciples of the martial arts arena were automatically blasted away. Some of the disciples could not take it any longer and immediately started trembling in fear, and their pants started to get wet. Too strong. Just the aura it emitted was enough to completely crush Long Fei. Xia Chuyuan did not move, and said, "Great elder, please calm your anger, otherwise. What else would happen? Do you dare to stop me?" Ma Fenglei was not afraid in the slightest as he said darkly, "In the outer sect, I am the king, understood?" At this time, Long Fei shouted loudly, "Someone come quickly, the great clan elder wants to kill someone. Does the God Rare sect not have a law enforcement hall? The great clan elder is going to kill people. Is no one going to stop him? Murder, murder. A innocent sheep like me, a future super genius, is there no one controlling him? No one paid any attention to him. Because he did not dare to. Just as Ma Fenglei had said, he was the king of the outer sect. He could cover the sky with one hand. Who would dare to interfere? As for his taking the divine spirit pill, this was something that everyone knew, but no one dared to say it out loud because of fear. Hearing Long Fei's shouts, Ma Fenglei shouted, and said, "Brat, no one can save you today. If you dare to go against me, you are dead." Many people agreed. You're courting death. At first, he was so arrogant, but now he's scared like a dead dog. Just like this, the 8 Ascension constellation. It's a joke. Kid, you brought this upon yourself. There were also many who sighed for Long Fei. A good genius is about to die. Why bother? So this is what happens when you try to force your way out. Why don't you take a look at what kind of place this is? Lu Qin and the others were also a little anxious. They didn't know what Long Fei was trying to do, and it wasn't at all like the usual Long Fei. Xia Chuyuan said in a faint voice, "Great Elder, do you really want to kill him?" Ma Fenglei coldly snorted, and said, "Xia Chuyuan, you think you can stop me just by yourself? Mph, overestimating yourself. Rumble." Xia Chuyuan's sound wave aura was immediately broken. In the void, Ma Fenglei took a step forward, and the sword in his hand pierced through, Prajna sword. The sword imprint was like a Buddha. All around, they all rushed towards Xia Chuyuan. Bang, bang, bang. The sword intents from all directions immediately slashed countless bloody wounds on Xia Chuyuan's body, and he was forced to continuously retreat, spitting out a large mouthful of blood as he fell to the ground. Ma Fenglei bellowed, "You're not my match at all. If I hadn't shown mercy, you would have already died." The Prajna sword was incomparably sharp. Xia Chuyuan was simply unable to resist them. Everyone was slightly surprised. At this time, Ma Fenglei stared at Long Fei and said, "Brat, I will hack you into 8 pieces." Before he could finish his sentence, his figure disappeared. Long Fei's location was wrapped up by a ball of aura, and the sword intent of the Prajna sword flooded into his sea of consciousness from all directions, forming a strong pressure that made him feel extremely uncomfortable. Long Fei's sea of consciousness was incomparably uncomfortable, his body couldn't control it, and furthermore, he could clearly feel that his blasting fist was being suppressed by some kind of powerful force. Blasting fist, annihilate everything with a single punch. Previously, he thought that no one could stop the blasting fist, but now, he did not think so. The same was true for cultivation techniques. Master, Big Brother Long Fei. It was also at this time. With a flash of white, the desperate man appeared. However, the moment he appeared, Long Fei moved and said, "I can deal with him, don't appear. I can deal with it." Chapter 1764 Boss, go ahead and attack. Chapter 1764 Boss, go ahead and attack. How strong was the desperate man? Long Fei didn't know. But he knew that the bodyguard his mother left him was not weak. Moreover, the existence of the desperate man was one of Long Fei's trump cards. This trump card cannot be easily revealed. He would form a trump card. Then again, what if the desperate man is weak? It would be too embarrassing to die trying to block the bullet. Long Fei wanted to endure it himself. In the past, the blasting fist was unstoppable and no one could stop it. But now that he had finally encountered a crushing defeat, he had to endure it. Stiff. To do away with everything. Combat mode, activate. Boom. Long Fei's body released a ray of bloodlight. His entire body was scarlet red. Humph. Brat, so what if you can use that technique? 8-star realm, not even qualified to lick my shoes. Go to hell. Also, give me everything you have, ha ha ha. Ma Fenglei shouted in fury. The power of the Prajna sword. The sword imprints surged over from all directions as they crushed everything in their path. Powerful slaughter. Xia Chuyuan's heart was dead silent. He was willing to die to avoid seeing Long Fei die, because he saw traces of hope for the rise of the God Rare sect on Long Fei. But now, this hope was about to be shattered. Sigh. Long Fei, oh Long Fei, why didn't you listen to my advice? Why did you suddenly become so irritable? Xie Chuan felt bitter in his heart. A super genius is about to die. Sigh. Why are you doing this? Incomparable pain. Xie Chuan watched as the great clan elder's sword stabbed down. His eyes slightly closed, and did not dare to continue watching. In this kind of situation, Long Fei was dead for sure. How could an 8-star expert be a match for a 9th-stage Green-star powerhouse? The ranks of Devil Island were as follows: Star, Yellow Star, Green Star, Blue Star, Red Star, Purple Star, Black Star, Silver Star, and Venus. Grade 1 to 9. Impossible. Everyone believed that Long Fei would definitely die. The desperate man who was silently hiding in the darkness did not disappear like Long Fei had said. He stared intently at Ma Fenglei, as he would definitely not let Long Fei receive any damage. Moreover, a life-seizing sword appeared in his hand. His level. He was a very terrifying existence. However, even he didn't know. How could the person Mu Wanna was looking for be weak? At this moment, Long Fei was in combat mode, and all of his attributes had increased. At the same time, his fists also sunk. Wang. The explosive power of a deity surged. Raising his eyes and the corner of his mouth, he said, "Enter the attack range. You're dead." Ma Fenglei laughed coldly, and said, "Brat, what did you say just now?" Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. Wang. The hurricane burst boxing was already prepared. Long Fei revealed a deathly smile as he said each word. "I said, you are dead." One word at a time. Every word was filled with killing intent. Ha ha ha. Ma Fenglei laughed out loud. "You are right, you are dead." The sword stabbed down. Everyone's eyes narrowed. At the critical moment, both of Long Fei's fists punched out towards the sky, blasting fists. Boom, boom. 2 streams of light shot out from his fists, striking from left and right, like tracking missiles. They blasted towards Ma Fenglei. At this moment, Ma Fenglei's sword descended, and its speed was as fast as lightning. Under these circumstances, quick, quick, quick. Speed, speed. This was a competition of speed. If Ma Fenglei's sword strike arrived first, Long Fei would definitely die. He would die first. Under these circumstances, even if he killed Ma Fenglei, it would be useless. Ah! Long Fei glared at him angrily. There was no longer time to summon the Holy Spirit Angel. There was no longer any cultivation technique that he could release. He could only brace himself and wait. His life was hanging by a thread. This feeling was not good. Rumble. Almost at the same time, the blasting fist came down. Ma Fenglei's great wisdom sword pierced down, causing 2 bursts of power to explode outwards. Boom. Boom. Long Fei's body retreated explosively. The long sword pierced into his body. The powerful great Buddha palm unscrupulously struck his body, and it was incomparably uncomfortable. The sleeping beauty was suddenly awakened and asked, "Master, what happened?" Boom. Rumble. Ding. System notification. Player Long Fei's alchemy inherent skill has been broken. Ding. System notification. Player Long Fei's artifact forging inherent skill has been broken. Ding. System notification. Player Long Fei's inscription inherent skill has been broken. Notifications sounded one after another. This was transformed by the sleeping beauty. It did not belong to the system. The moment the Hanya sword intent rushed into Long Fei's body, his body subconsciously tried to defend, but the innate abilities of the sleeping beauty, who was the first to be affected by the attack, were all shattered from the shock. It was extremely uncomfortable. With just a thought, he could destroy everything. It was also because of these 8 talents that Long Fei was so proud that he lived, otherwise, his mind would have been severed and his sea of consciousness would collapse. Had cultivated Prajna sword for his entire life, and he had already cultivated to the peak realm, its power was too strong. Poochie. Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale as he checked the health point above his head. Ma Fenglei sneered as he looked at Long Fei. Unexpectedly, "I'm not dead yet, but your talent should have already been cut off, right? You're already a piece of trash, ha ha ha. Kid." With this sword, I will cut off your life palace. Long Fei steadied himself and said faintly, Great Elder, do you still have any strength left? Can't you feel that you are already dying? As soon as he finished. Boom. With an explosion, a hole suddenly appeared in his chest. Blood gushed out. Ma Fenglei's pupils shrank as he shouted, I can't, kid, you, your sister. Long Fei wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He did not care about the few ranks of inherent skill. With the system in his hands, he did not care about the negative inherent skill. Thus, the inherent skills of the Sleeping Beauty had all shattered. Long Fei did not pay attention to them. However, the Sleeping Beauty, on the other hand, was extremely concerned. Even her tears had started to flow. It was not because these gifts were ruined, but because of how much pain Long Fei would have to endure when these gifts were destroyed. It was extremely uncomfortable. Girl, don't cry. As long as you like it, you can still help me change it. Long Fei felt the Sleeping Beauty's tears. The Sleeping Beauty shook her head and said, It's already impossible to change. Even if I could, I wouldn't help you change it. My master, I'm sorry, I forced my thoughts onto you. I want you to become perfect. I'm wrong, I'm sorry, I've made you suffer too much. Fool. If it wasn't for you, I'm afraid I would already be dead. Long Fei was very clear that if not for his inherent skill, sharing the damage, he would already be a dead man now. No. Save me, I don't want to die. At this moment, the Great Elder shouted and went crazy. Explosions continuously exploded from his body. Every time it exploded, the amount of blood on his head would decrease by a large amount. Finally, the head exploded, and the amount of blood drained from his body. Long Fei grinned and laughed sinisterly. Boss, go ahead and kill him, ha ha ha. Chapter 1765, The 8 Immortals, Cripple Him. Chapter 1765, The 8 Immortals, Cripple Him. Boom. A loud sound burst out, followed by a system notification sound. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Ma Fenglei for obtaining 2 million experience, 100,000 holy power value, and 1 metamorphic energy value. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the Prajna sword for release and cultivation. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining God's pill, 1008. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining divine grade bone ablutionary Dan bead. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the spirit sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. A series of explosions sounded out. To Long Fei, this voice was the most wonderful and pleasant voice in the world. It was simply a kind of enjoyment. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 9-star God. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing the boss Ma Fenglei above his level. You have obtained a special reward from the system. Heh. Another special reward. System, you are being too nice to me. Ha ha ha. Long Fei moved, her heart becoming nervous. What kind of special reward is it? At this moment, a gift box appeared in his system interface. The idea moved and gently clicked it. Ding. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining Thunder God. Do you wish to receive it? Rachel? A skill from Fire Shadow? Moreover. Or is it a god? Long Fei laughed. Receive, we must receive. How can anyone not receive Cars's skills? Rachel. The ninja lightning evasion technique, on top of that, it could also fuse more abilities into the foundation of the lightning evasion. It wasn't as powerful as the divine lightning evasion, nor any other techniques. At this moment, the system beeped again. Ding. System notification. Will you fuse the sesame fruit with the lightning cut? Heh. Long Fei was a little confused. Master System, are you really omnipotent? You want to fuse the fire shadow and the thing inside the one piece? Damn, isn't this a little too overpowered? Fuse. Without saying a word, Long Fei gave the order. And then, Long Fei's sesame fruit and Rachel disappeared, and a fusion progress bar appeared in the system interface. The progress was a little slow, and the system was slowly moving forward. The slower the fusion, the stronger the large object created by the fusion. Long Fei secretly thought, "Hey, I would actually like to see what kind of thing you can fuse with." Just as Long Fei was about to reveal something in his drunken state, the entire world seemed to have become extremely quiet. Everyone was staring at Long Fei, not even blinking an eye. He killed the Great Elder with a single punch. It was like a dream. This was too unbelievable. At the same time that they were shocked, the anger in the hearts of many people surged. An examination disciple actually killed the Great Elder. Was he really here for the assessment? Or could it be that Long Fei had come prepared for the Great Clan Elder? Suddenly, "Where is the law enforcement hall?" An elder shouted loudly. "Ha!" A disciple of the law enforcement hall shouted and rushed out. It instantly surrounded Long Fei. Lu Qin, Mu Bing, Lei Ju, and Li Ruhua all quickly rushed towards Long Fei. "Sovereign, sovereign, master!" Mu Bing shouted for a few times before he finally reacted. After being stunned for a moment, he asked, "What's wrong?" Seeing that he was surrounded, his eyebrows sunk. He immediately understood what had happened and took a step forward. "What did I do wrong?" "It was the Great Elder who wanted to kill me. He attacked me first." "Standing here for him to kill?" "Exactly. Is there anything else that can be reasoned with in God Rare sect?" It was obviously the Great Elder who made the first move. Now that he has been killed, we have to group attack. Are you being reasonable or not? So many people are watching. Lu Qin and Mu Bing quickly explained. The elder shouted, "So what if the Great Clan Elder attacked first? I suspect that you are a spy from another sect. What is your purpose for coming to God Rare sect? Speak." A cesspool was caught. To let a outer door great presbyter be killed by a disciple taking the examination, what kind of insult was this? To the entire God Rare sect, this was a form of humiliation. This proved how strong Long Fei was. They only thought that they had been humiliated. Long Fei laughed coldly, and said, "What a good shit bowl. I came to the God Rare sect in order to become a disciple of the God Rare sect, but I didn't expect me to actually be said to be a disciple of another sect. If you have the guts, come and get it. I am Long Fei, accept them all." F***CK. Long Fei roared, "This old one has never been afraid. Not afraid, not afraid. If you want to play, I'll play with you until the end." The corners of the elder's eyes twitched. "This is too arrogant. You've completely lost your talent. Do you really think you have the qualifications to be arrogant? A mere God realm cultivator, an existence akin to an ant. Today, I want to see how much more savage you can be." As soon as he finished, a gust of wind swept over, and the figure was as fast as Yi Mai, making it difficult to see his movements clearly. Xia Chuan reacted and shouted, "Second Elder, stop." However, without waiting for him to finish speaking, the elder swung his palm towards Long Fei's head. Lu Qin blocked in front of Long Fei and took out his sword. "Get out of my way." Boom. His aura was like a raging tide, directly pushing Lu Qin back from the impact and causing him to fall to the ground, his face extremely pale. Long Fei saw this and his anger surged. "King touched my woman? Even the gods can't save you." He could not even see the shadow of an elder, and his speed was simply too fast, which was not something he could handle, but Long Fei rushed forward. What is he doing? Is he courting death? Or should I say, did he just use that move again? It doesn't look like it. The Second Elder and the Great Elder's cultivations are equal. That boy is definitely going to die. The blasting fist was cooling. Long Fei's own level was thousands of miles away from that elder's. He wasn't a match at all. However, he had the system. Sensing the strong gale rushing towards them, Long Fei's idea exploded and shouted loudly, "8 immortals, come out together. Kill him for me." Buzz. The 8 immortals charged out. Lu Dongbin's sword pierced through the void. The elder didn't even have time to react before his body sank down from the sky and he shouted, "Who are you?" Iron Crutch Li laughed like a metria, "Eat my crutch." Crack. The second elder's leg was broken as soon as the iron sword was thrown. "Eat my donkey hooves." Elder Zhongguo's little donkey suddenly moved and directly kicked the second elder onto the ground. Following that, the 8 immortals encircled him. Punches and kicks. Inhumane. Long Fei was completely dumbfounded, his heart was shaken. Fuck. These were the 8 immortals. It's a black art. Isn't that too cruel? However, I like it. Chapter 1766, First Disciple, Fang Tianhan. Chapter 1766, First Disciple, Fang Tianhan. Too brutal. The 8 immortals were absolutely miserable. His face was bruised and swollen. He was covered in wounds. The key point was that the second elder was screaming on the ground. Other than him being able to see the 8 immortals, no one else could. It was as if he was going insane. Who are you? Who are you? Long Fei walked to his side and said, Did you see that? This is how arrogant I am. Kill me. Who killed who? The second elder had been beaten to a state where he was incapable of taking care of himself. The second clan elder stared at Long Fei and asked, Who are they? Are they humans or ghosts? He was going crazy. His mind was in a breakdown because he had never seen these strange people, riding donkeys, holding onto crutches, and someone carrying a basket. What kind of strange people were these? Moreover, one was stronger than the other. He wasn't a match for them at all. Were immortals that easy to deal with? The surrounding people were all dumbstruck. They had all thought that Long Fei would die, but the opposite is true. What's going on? What happened? Are we hallucinating? This. They could not speak. Long Fei looked at the last bit of blood on the second elder's head and said, So what if you touch my woman? I, too, will kill him. Stop. Long Fei, stop. A large group of people had arrived in the sky. Seeing that, Xia Chuan also anxiously shouted out, Long Fei, quickly stop. One more great elder had already died, so no matter how one more second elder died, the outer sect would inevitably be severely injured. Furthermore, Long Fei's identity would be redefined. If it really was a spy from another sect, or something, then he definitely would not be able to escape death. The second elder laughed sinisterly. Ha ha ha. Elder of Inner House is here, little brat, do you dare to touch a single hair on my head? Ha ha ha. You want to kill me? Dream on. When I recover, it will be the day of your death. Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei slapped his palm down. You're so noisy, call me your sister. This slap was with all his strength. In addition to the small amount of HP left on top of the second elder's head, this attack had caused his face to turn malevolent and the wound on his head to instantly disappear. Bah! Whose death date? Long Fei cursed. The system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing second elder for obtaining 80,000 experience points, 80,000 holy power value, and 1 metamorphic energy value. Damn. This is the difference between a normal monster and a boss. The difference in experience points is many times greater than a boss, and they haven't dropped anything yet. This is too darned. Long Fei retorted in his heart. At this moment, Xia Chuan stood there dumbstruck, his eyes unmoving as he looked at Long Fei. The people in the sky above also started to descend one by one. Every time he landed on the ground, there would be a loud explosion, as if there was a muffled explosion. All of their auras were imbued with godly powers, and the patterns beneath their feet brought with them light waves. These people were all first-class powerhouse existences of the Elder of Inner House. Moreover, the first impression that they gave Long Fei was that they couldn't kill him, even if it was the blasting fist. Even killing Ma Fenglei would be difficult with the blasting fist, so dealing with these Elder of Inner House would be even worse, unless it was a sneak attack. Devil Island is much stronger than I imagined. Long Fei's heart tightened. At this moment, a young disciple rushed forward and struck out with his palm towards Long Fei. The divine power around his body glowed with a golden light as it smashed down heavily. Long Fei crossed his hands together in defense. But, boom, boom, boom. His body exploded as he continuously retreated. The bluestone floor on the ground cracked all the way, causing the bones in Long Fei's arms to crack. His mind, consciousness, and mind were overturned. The attack comes with divine light and flames. What a powerful strength. The divine power with divine flames has already reached the highest realm, right? This cultivation is at least at the blue star realm. So powerful. Senior brother is so handsome. The crowd burst into cheers. Divine light flames were similar to the buff effect of an ancient dragon. Each move radiated a golden light. This was the characteristic of a realm. Blue star realm. The young disciple looked to be less than 30 years old, but his cultivation was shockingly high. Long Fei retreated more than 10 meters before stopping. The last move he made with his health point. Less than 10% remained. If he used another move, he would die. Immediately. He swallowed a few healing pellets consecutively, his health point recovering just a little bit. With a dark look in his eyes, the idea connected to the goddess scroll, and started to be on guard. Kid. I told you to stop, why didn't you stop? The young disciple glared at him. Long Fei shouted coldly, who do you think you are? Why should I stop? How dare you be so arrogant? It seems like if I don't teach you a lesson today, you don't know how powerful I, Fang Tianhan, am. As soon as the young man finished speaking, he moved again. He is Fang Tianhan, the #1 disciple of God Rare Sect. A super genius with martial arts training talent. I heard that he broke through to Blue Star Realm 10 years ago. What level has his cultivation reached now? Too cool. Senior brother Fang, teach this kid a lesson. Otherwise, he would think that there is no one in our God Rare Sect. Fang Tianhan. The #1 disciple of the God Rare Sect, one of the most outstanding new generation. He was also the sect master's direct disciple. He was young and possessed extraordinary talent. It was also because of this that he was arrogant and looked down on everyone else. However, it was only natural for Powerhouse to not be arrogant. Also because he, Ma Fenglei, had become a outer door great presbyter. At the same time, Fang Tianhan was also grateful to Ma Fenglei. Facing Fang Tianhan launching another move, the center of Long Fei's brows tightened. Not afraid in the slightest, he reminded the people beside him in a low voice, all of you stay away from me. He didn't want them involved. Long Fei also slowly stepped forward, your father doesn't care about whether you're the #1 disciple or some crappy disciple. You want to touch me? Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Not afraid. He just wouldn't submit. At this moment. Suddenly. Xia Chuyuan appeared between the two of them and took out an order badge from his chest pocket. The token flashed a light that shot up to the sky. Fang Tianhan's face trembled, sect leader's decree. As long as one was a member of the God Rare Sect, regardless of whether it was a disciple or an elder, they all knelt down, and said with a heavy voice, we greet the sect master. Long Fei was slightly taken aback. Fang Tianhan did not kneel down, and asked, how did you get the sect master's order? Xia Chuyuan slightly said, Fang Tianhan, why aren't you kneeling down when you see the sect master? The corner of Fang Tianhan's eyes twitched, he stared at Long Fei, then looked at him and coldly said, I'm not kneeling, so what can you do? While he was speaking, he took another step and walked towards Long Fei. Chapter 1767 Can I make my move now? Chapter 1767 Can I make my move now? The sect master token could not suppress Fang Tianhan. He continued to walk towards Long Fei. His speed was not fast, and could be said to be a little slow. However, every step he took was filled with golden light, and those who got close to him were automatically repelled. They were completely unable to resist the aura coming from his body. He moved out a path on his own. When Fang Tianhan walked to Xia Chuyuan's side, he icily said, you too, scram to the side. Buzz. Bam. The aura fiercely collided with each other. Xia Chuyuan was directly sent flying, smashing heavily onto the ground. He spat out a mouthful of blood, his face pale white, as he spoke with difficulty, Long Fei, run. Run. Humph. Where can he go? A cold smile hung from the corners of Fang Tianhan's mouth as he said in disdain, brat, you're still not a disciple of God Rare Sect yet and you still dare to kill Outer Door Great Presbyter. If you're a disciple of God Rare Sect, then wouldn't you still want to go to heaven? Elder Ma treated me as a favor, so in order to repay him, I'll take revenge for him. At least it can be considered as repaying his debt. He spoke very casually. However, there was a strong killing intent in his eyes. Being stared at in such a way made Long Fei feel like he was a living fish on a chopping block, ready to be slaughtered. This feeling was not good. But Long Fei did not leave. Long Fei said, "He wants to kill me, he's dead. The second elder wants to kill me, he's dead too. Now, you want to kill me too, he. What will happen next? Humph. You're really arrogant. Just based on what you said just now, you're already going to die 10 times. Fang Tianhan suddenly stopped. Suddenly, Fang Tianhan's eyes turned cold. Su. It was like a beam of light, fading away in the blink of an eye. The chill was oppressive. Long Fei felt as if he had instantly fallen into another time and space. The 9 heavens and 10 earth were filled with killing intent. In this concept space, he was like an ant that was tightly gripped in someone's hand. If he used even a little bit of strength, he would die. Not good. Not good. Very bad. But Long Fei could do nothing. The blasting fist was cooling down. The 8 immortals were in the midst of cooling down. And Holy Spirit Angel was completely useless. Even if Holy Spirit defense was immune to 99% of the attack, just 1% of the attack would be enough to kill Long Fei more than 100 times. Fang Tianhan was too strong. The number 1 disciple of the God Rare sect, an unparalleled genius of the 10 rating gift. His strength was ridiculously strong. In front of him, Long Fei had no room to retaliate. Kid, how do you feel about the killing interspace of the 9 heavens and 10 earth? It's great, isn't it? Ha ha ha. Fang Tianhan started to laugh complacently. He was not in a hurry to kill Long Fei, he was just like a cat catching a mouse. As soon as he finished, the expressions of the elder of inner houses that followed along changed, and revealed a shocked expression. Killing interspace of the 9 heavens and 10 earth. Could it be that he has already mastered it? This is a super divine rank cultivation technique left behind by the flying goddess. I never thought that it would be cultivated in a short 3 years. As expected of Fang Tianhan, who can resist the killing intent of the 9 heavens and 10 earth? This kid is dead for sure. Ha ha ha. The number 1 disciple of the God Rare sect, indeed worthy of his name. Many people began to laugh. It was because the 9 days and 10 places killing space that Fang Tianhan trained in was too hard to cultivate. In the entire God Rare sect, other than the current sect master, no one else could comprehend the first stage. However, Fang Tianhan had actually comprehended it. What did this mean? The number 1 person under the sect master only reached the first stage after cultivating for dozens of years. On the other hand, had only comprehended for a short 3 years, which was enough to prove that his talent was incomparably powerful. In the 9 heavens and 10 earth, your killing intent is extremely strong. Killing intent. The living will die, the dead will perish, and no one can stop them. That kid is dead for sure. Killing intent raged as the 9 heavens and 10 earth madly crushed. Within these killing interspace of the 9 heavens and 10 earth, Long Fei was able to withstand the limitless body pressure. Like the ocean floor that was tens of thousands of meters deep, all of the pores on his body were pressed to the point where he bled. All of a sudden, Long Fei's entire body was covered in blood, and his health point was plummeting crazily. Ha ha ha. Kid. How arrogant. Ha ha ha. Fang Tianhan laughed proudly. Xia Chuan stood up, rushed forward, and said, Fang Tianhan, stop right there. Long Fei could not die. A level of 8 stars was enough to defeat Ma Fenglei. Second elder, this kind of person was a genius. He would be the one who would earn face for the God Rare sect in this year's 10 sects exchange, so nothing should happen to Long Fei. Xia Chuan did not hesitate to take out his sect master's order. However, he didn't think that Fang Tianhan was actually not afraid. Xia Chuan, are you courting death? How dare you command me? Fang Tianhan's eyes stared wide open as a ray of coldness flashed within them and a ray of red light also flashed within his eyes. A blood-red light. It was just like. It was as if he had been possessed. Killing intent. It was the easiest way to breed inner demons. Once the inner demon was born, he would lose control of his mind. Especially when he was stimulated by some external force, he would become even more manic. However, Fang Tianhan's current state was still under his control. A red light flashed. He flung his sleeves fiercely, and a wave of qi directly sent Xie Chuan flying. He snorted coldly, "This is the second time, if there's a third time, you'll die." Bam! Xie Chuan smashed onto the ground and spat out another mouthful of blood. At this time, Lu Qin and Mu Bing rushed forward, but did not wait for them to pull out their swords. "Two more for abuse. I'm not some man that has mercy on the fairer sex." Boom, boom. The crazed aura directly blew Lu Qin and Mu Bing away. Lei Ju raised his sleeves and said, "I'm going all out." Ah! With a heavy head, he charged forward. Humph! Fang Tianhan laughed disdainfully, "A bunch of trash." Boom! Lei Ju was also blasted out. Everyone was injured, and they couldn't even get close to Fang Tianhan. Many people were excited. Fang Tianhan was simply too strong. At this moment, Long Fei's consciousness started to blur. The amount of blood left on the top of his head was only 2 digits, and it was still falling. His life was in danger. Ha ha ha. Kid. F***CK. You're so impatient to play? You fainted just like that. Too trashy. How boring. Never mind, then go to hell. Fang Tianhan immediately lost all interest. With a move of the idea, the killing interspace S of the 9 heavens and 10 earth started surging. Long Fei's body floated. Suspended in midair. One of the elders laughed as he looked up at the sky. "It's going to explode soon. This is the first stage of the 9 heavens and 10 great earth." Immediately, Long Fei closed his eyes. He was extremely weak. "Can I make my move now?" A voice appeared in Long Fei's mind. Long Fei wanted to agree, but he could not say it. "Forget it. I'm making my move." Chapter 1768, The Scholar Who Lies with the Wind. Chapter 1768, The Scholar Who Lies with the Wind. The voice came from the darkness. From the desperate man. It came even more from the voice that controlled his consciousness. When he saw Long Fei floating in midair with his life hanging by a thread, he couldn't control it at all. When the killing intent from the 9 heavens above Fang Tianhan gushed towards his heart, his expression suddenly changed. His pupils constricted to the point where they were as fast as wheat, and cold sweat seeped out of his forehead. At this moment, buzz, poochie, a white shadow flashed past. Fang Tianhan's body immediately exploded outwards, falling to the ground and rolling around. The stones around him shattered, as if he was a heavy machine that had appeared before it had been crushed. Bam! After crashing into the wall, he stopped. Puff! He spat out a mouthful of blood, his face pale and his eyes weak. Just for a moment. He could not even see the person. He only saw a string of white shadows, and then that sword technique that he could not dodge. It was too strong, his mind was completely crushed, and even the killing interspaces he released from the 9 heavens and 10 earth were instantly shattered. One move of slay. "Who? Come out!" Fang Tianhan roared, and looked around. The surrounding people also had a face full of astonishment, their eyes glazed over, as they looked at Fang Tianhan without knowing what had just happened, and as if everything was a dream. What was going on? Why would Fang Tianhan appear there? Who made a move? I didn't see it. Did that kid make his move? Impossible, he had already fallen into a coma. What the hell is going on? They didn't know what had happened in that instant. Who is it? If you have the guts, then come out. Fang Tianhan crawled up with some difficulty. He had never suffered such a loss before, never. The rage within his heart surged, and he was extremely displeased. He was God Rare Sect's #1 disciple. He was the strongest disciple in the God Rare Sect for several hundred years. Right now, the God Rare Sect was relying on him to keep up appearances. Who would dare to make a move on him? His current sorry state had caused him to lose a lot of face, and in that instant, Fang Tianhan fiercely rushed out. Bastard, then he must die. Whoosh whoosh, whoosh whoosh whoosh, his speed was like the wind, constantly flashing and changing his position. In his right hand, The sword moved again, and a raging sword intent surged out with a strong killing intent. A blood-red light flashed in his eyes. His eyes were bloodshot. The inner demons were out of control. Fang Tianhan's eyes stared at the unconscious Long Fei, and said, "I'll see if you can come out." Buzz. A single sword strike swept the ground and brought it tumbling out of the ground. Bang, bang, bang. A stream of sword chi that could be seen with the naked eye shot out explosively. If it were to hit Long Fei, his body would be split into two halves. Humph. Let's see how you will dodge then. Before he could finish, Fang Tianhan suddenly stopped. He raised his eyes and suddenly felt his heart tremble. 9 days. 9 days, 10 days, who exactly am I, you, in killing interspace? His position suddenly changed. Completely unwittingly, he didn't discover anything and directly entered this kind of killing interspace of the 9 heavens and 10 hells. How strong was this? This killing interspace of the 9 heavens and 10 earth was much more powerful than what he cultivated. This caused Fang Tianhan's heart to sink even further. Who are you? Who exactly are you? To be honest, Fang Tianhan asked the desperate man who he was, and he did not know himself. Moreover, he did not even know what the 9 days and 10 places killing space he had released was. He only knew that he could release it. Especially when he saw Fang Tianhan using this move, it felt like his consciousness had awakened by a tiny bit, released naturally. He didn't even know what was going on. How strong was he? How deep? He had no idea. Buzz. The sword chi released by Fang Tianhan was destroyed, and at the same time, his body floated up uncontrollably, as the killing intent from the 9 heavens and 10 earth poured into his heart. First stage. Heartburst. He knew what it was. Fang Tianhan was afraid. This was the first time in his life that he had felt fear. His face was pale as a sheet. He continuously struggled and yelled, "Let me go, let me go." Killing intent surged within his body. In the end, Fang Tianhan pleaded for mercy. "Let me go, I beg you, let me go, I don't dare anymore, don't kill me, I beg you, don't kill me." Desperate man did not stop. Killing intent still raged. Amongst the killing interspace of the 9 heavens and 10 hells, Fang Tianhan was equally powerless to resist. The surrounding elders reacted. Especially the elder of Inner House that came with Fang Tianhan. They all looked anxious as they said loudly, "This is God Rare Sect, if you dare touch him, we will definitely chase you to the end. Let him go. Hurry up and let him go." Who is Fang Tianhan? He was hailed as the disciple of God Rare Sect's hope. If something were to happen to him, then the God Rare Sect of this year's exchange would definitely be pressured down. Once he lost his position as 10 sects, his future days would be even more difficult. Many elders were extremely anxious. Even Xia Chuan couldn't help but say, "I don't know which lord would like to request that you be magnanimous and spare his life." The killing intent was still surging. It did not stop. Fang Tianhan's body started to tremble as he pitifully begged for mercy. Suddenly, the sky darkened. A flash of golden light descended from the sky, followed by a middle-aged man wearing a golden robe. At this moment, Fang Tianhan released the power that was holding on to his life-saving straw of grass. "Master, save me. Master. The Grand Master is here, God Rare Sect Lord, Zhong Sanqian. The number 1 person in God Rare Sect, Powerhouse." He abruptly landed and wielded his long sword. Buzz. From all directions, the swords beside all the disciples began to hum as they emitted a trembling sound. Shua. The 9 days and 10 places killing space released by the desperate man was destroyed. Fang Tianhan also fell from mid-air. He was so scared that his face turned pale. He roared and scolded, "You dog, now that my master is here, you must die." Zhong Sanqian's eyes swept the area, stared at a spot, and said, "How do you know the 9 days and 10 places killing space?" Not waiting for him to finish, desperate man stared at Fang Tianhan again. Fang Tianhan truly walked towards Long Fei. Zhong Sanqian's gaze tensed up, and his figure turned into a shooting star. At this moment, a white shadow flashed. The 2 sword intents suddenly clashed. Golden light shot out in all directions, and at the same time, it bounced off. The cultivation of the two of them was neither strong nor weak. Zhong Sanqian's heart trembled greatly, not because of Desperate Man's cultivation, but because the aura on his body was the same as the aura on the God Rare sect disciples. It was just like how the Desperate Man was created from cultivation in the God Rare sect. Who is it? Other than the great clan elders, there was no other opponent in God Rare sect that could match him. Who was his age? Zhong Sanqian's heart flipped. However, Desperate Man moved again. At this moment, Zhong Sanqian's expression changed greatly. Second stage of the 9 days and 10 places killing space. Chapter 1769 Detention. Chapter 1769 Detention. How is this possible? Impossible. Zhong Sanqian's face changed. He knew better than anyone how difficult it was to cultivate the 9 days and 10 places killing space. It took him 30 years to cultivate to the second stage, but he had only just entered the second stage. And the killing interspace that was released by the Desperate Man was completely above him. Reaching such a level of purity. This was a peerless cultivation technique that was left behind by the Flying Goddess. Other than the people from the God Rare sect, no one had ever cultivated it before. How could he? Zhong Sanqian did not understand. He couldn't understand either. However, the second stage of killing interspace was not aimed at him, but Fang Tianhan. The moment it was released, Fang Tianhan was instantly dumbfounded. With a putong sound, he kneeled on the ground and said, I was wrong, I was wrong. Don't kill me, don't kill me. His crotch was wet. He was scared to the point of peeing. The killing intent of the second level was more than 10 times that of the first level. The feeling of death strangling him was too unbearable. As long as he used a little bit of strength, he would be able to move his head. Zhong Sanqian slightly said, please stop. Desperate Man didn't even look at Zhong Sanqian. He didn't know why. His bones were filled with disdain, and so was his gaze. It was as if he had the feeling that you don't even have the qualifications to speak to me. At this moment, Long Fei's eyes slightly opened, and the idea said with sound transmission, don't kill him, his mind. In that instant, with a flash of white, he disappeared. Killing interspace instantly collapsed and disappeared along with it. It had happened too fast. Fang Tianhan's body loosened and instantly fell to the ground in a paralyzed state. His body trembled non-stop, his eyes were unfocused, and even the inner demon had curled up in the deepest part of his mind, not daring to make a move. After a long time, Fang Tianhan slowly recovered. Staring at Long Fei, he said, I want to. Zhong Sanqian slightly shouted, haven't you caused enough trouble? His voice was like thunder. With anger. Fang Tianhan didn't know, but he was very clear that if not for Desperate Man stopping him, Fang Tianhan would have already died. It wasn't that he didn't have enough skill. It was only because he received a sudden order that he stopped. Men, bring him back to Reflection Cliff. Reflect on the fact that he can't leave here even half a step without my permission. Zhong Sanqian said heavily. This was a form of punishment, and also a form of protection. He knew his disciple too well. He was young and arrogant. No one could stop him from doing what he wanted to do. If he didn't kill Long Fei, he definitely wouldn't stop. He had to calm him down. Fang Tianhan glared at him. He was unconvinced. But when he saw Zhong Sanqian's gaze, he immediately lowered his head, and did not dare to speak. Long Fei slowly stood up and looked at the Zhong Sanqian who was not far away. Xia Chuan replied, Sect Master, his name is Long Fei. Zhong Sanqian's eyes turned cold, stared at Long Fei for a moment, then said, first, lock him up, then talk. Who dares to touch my sect head? I'll fight it out with him. Lu Qin and Mu Bing walked over with much difficulty. Lei Ju also walked over with much difficulty, and there was also Li Ruhua. Zhong Sanqian swept his eyes across them and coldly said, imprison them together. Are there any more rebels? His voice was deep and clear, and the sound waves resounded in everyone's mind like thunder. All of the surrounding disciples were startled, and did not dare to make the slightest sound. It also revealed a look of not knowing Long Fei at all. Xia Chuan wanted to say something, But before he could say anything, Zhong Sanqian shouted, "Where is the law enforcement hall? Why are you still not executing orders? No one can get close to them without my orders, do you understand?" Ha! The disciples of the law enforcement hall all rushed to Long Fei's side. Lu Qin and Mu Bing looked towards Long Fei. Long Fei shook his head, signaling them not to resist. His life was already hanging by a thread, and he needed some time to recover. If they resisted now, they would all die. Moreover, Zhong Sanqian only said that he would imprison them, he didn't say that he would kill them. As for Fang Tianhan, we won't be able to touch him for a month. 1 month later, I don't know who moves who. Long Fei did not resist, but he was also unable to do so at the moment. Today's examination will continue, Zhong Sanqian said as he looked at Xie Chuan, and then returned to the inner sect of God Rare Sect. Lan Feng, you cowardly bastard. Lei Yiju scolded. Lan Feng said with a cold smile, "Ninth brother, if you're willing to follow Long Fei, you don't even want your own future. I can't do it, I must become the God Rare Sect's disciple. Just follow him and suffer." Ha ha ha. Lan Feng walked into the second test team. He didn't want to be a victim. To him, Lei Yiju and the others were already unable to become disciples of the God Rare Sect. Young master, Long Fei has been captured. Moreover, all of his talent has been wasted. Right now, he's a cripple. After Tang Lai was crushed by Long Fei, he left the examination grounds. However, in just half an hour, so many things had happened. Tang Lai's eyes flashed as he laughed complacently, as if he had just revived from being full of blood. Ha ha ha. Long Fei, let's see how you can continue acting arrogant now. God Rare Sect, Inner Sect. Sky Marshal Palace. The moment he came here, he killed the outer door great presbyter and the second clan elder. This kind of person cannot be allowed to live, I suggest that we kill him. I second that. This person must be a spy from another sect. If we were to spend resources to nurture him, then our God Rare Sect will really become a joke. I also propose to kill him. Too much killing intent, and he's too arrogant, who does he think he is? Several elder of Inner House S. There were also a few outer door presbyter S, and then there was Xie Chuan. They were discussing whether Long Fei should stay. Xie Chuan said, all 8 of his inherent skills are 10 rating, who would send such a genius to be a spy? Furthermore, forgive me for my bluntness, but how many of the other 9 sects in the 10 sects place us God Rare Sect in their eyes? They don't need to send spies to spy on us. Sect Master, I suggest that we keep them and think of a way to restore his talent. He will be the hope of our God Rare Sect. Xie Chuan said firmly. Elder Xie, you have to understand one thing. The 10 rating of the 8 immortals' inherent skill came a few hours ago, what about now? He's just a good-for-nothing with crippled talent, understand? How do you raise a trash? He came to save the God Rare Sect, he is the hope of the God Rare Sect. Do you think our God Rare Sect is a trash adoption stop? Exactly. Elder Xie, you should wake up a bit more. Many of the elders refuted Xie Chuan. Just as they had said, given that his talent had been crippled, it was impossible for him to fix it. There was no such precedent in Devil Island. Furthermore, there was no such spiritual pill. Recovering talent. Wishful thinking. A trash with no inherent skills wants to become a disciple of the God Rare Sect. Dream on. Chapter 1770 I Can Bear It. Chapter 1770 I Can Bear It. A person who did not have a rank talent was just a piece of trash to the common folk in the Devil Island. No matter how strong your innate talent was in the past. With your talent crippled, you are destined to be a piece of trash who will never change. Thus, this was an era that focused on talent. It was just like the world on Earth where one looked at one's face and looked at money. However, Xie Chuan did not give up and walked to the center of the hall. I would like to ask, what is the cultivation realm of the outer sect's second elder? The 9th level of the Green Star realm? What is Long Fei's cultivation level after being crippled? A 9-star deity, right? There's a difference of 2 realms. Let me ask you, among those who are doing this, Who among them can kill Green Star rank 9 stage experts? I just want to ask, who can do it? We can't. He can. Everyone was silent. Who could forcefully kill him with a jump of 2 realms? Fang Tianhan can't do it either. It was simply impossible for him to achieve the 10 rating inherent skill. How hard was it to kill someone above your level? In their eyes, this was practically impossible. Killing someone 2 levels higher was even more impossible. However, Elder Xia, he killed someone. He killed 2 elders of God Rare Sect. If we do not take care of him, how do you want the other people of God Rare Sect to view this matter? We should just kill them to get what we want. Isn't it just a disciple of the God Rare Sect who dares to kill? If he becomes a disciple of the God Rare Sect, won't he be killing us all? We can't stay. Everyone was still opposed to this. Xia Chuyuan clenched his fists tightly. Walking to the front of the hall, he suddenly knelt and said, Sect leader, I, Xia Chuyuan, am willing to bet everything. Zhong Sanqian's gaze tensed up. The entire hall fell silent. The majority of the people did not know Xia Chuyuan's identity, but there were some people who knew that he was close friends with the sect master, and that he was even the descendant of a certain powerhouse in God Rare Sect. To everyone's shock, he suddenly knelt down. Elder Xia, why are you doing this? You are acting on impulse. Exactly. Zhong Sanqian exhaled lightly, and said faintly, let Long Fei become an honorary disciple of the God Rare Sect, and cannot get involved in internal affairs of the God Rare Sect, and cannot get close to any secrets. Within 3 years, if his performance is good, then let him become an official disciple. If he doesn't want to, he can leave on his own. Xia Chuyuan immediately replied, many thanks, Sect Master. As long as you are a disciple of the God Rare Sect, whether it be in name or an official disciple, none of this is important. 3 more years. With Long Fei's talent, he would definitely be able to become an official disciple. Moreover, the nominal disciples did not affect any of the selection battles. The elders sighed. Although they were unwilling, they had to accept this. A mere nominal disciple was nothing. Moreover, to make a nominal disciple disappear was too simple. The council dispersed. Inside Zhong Sanqian's courtyard. Elementary, are you that sure that kid is God Rare Sect's hope? Zhong Sanqian asked suspiciously. He had never seen Xia Chuyuan kneel for a disciple before. This was great determination. Xia Chuyuan smiled slightly. Big brother, didn't you also place your hopes on him? Ever since you imprisoned Fang Tianhan, didn't you only want to keep him? Subconsciously, Zhong Sanqian wanted to keep Long Fei here. However, at that time, he wanted to know who the desperate man was and why he had to protect Long Fei. Zhong Sanqian was startled, then laughed. Is he really worth our hope? Xia Chuyuan said resolutely, it's worth it. I hope so. Zhong Sanqian laughed bitterly. As the God Rare Sect Lord, there were many things he could not do. The God Rare Sect was withering day by day, the internal elders were colluding with each other, and they were secretly taking bribes. He wanted reform. However, it was difficult to move. Fresh blood had to be injected to change that. When he thought that Fang Tianhan was the person he needed to wait for, he repeatedly failed at the 10 sects exchange, causing him to lose all face. What made him even more sad was that Fang Tianhan had already slowly lost control of himself and was falling to the other side. He was not optimistic about Long Fei's appearance. With his inherent skill crippled, he was now like a cripple. Even though Xia Chuyuan was extremely confident, he still did not think highly of him. With what did he rise? In just a few days, he would probably be pushed out of the mountain range by some interested elders, who knew if he would just kill him or not. And he couldn't interfere with all of this. Xia Chuyuan was the same. He could only save Long Fei once, but not the second time. Huff. It all depends on your fate. Zhong Sanqian laughed bitterly, then asked, how are the disciples recruited by the other sects this year? The center of Xia Chuyuan's brows tightened, and said, the entire 10 disciples has been divided among them. I have not seen the other disciples, but I have seen the 3rd strongest person, Nai Lin. Nai Lin from Shenyang sect. Zhong Sanqian slightly said, she is a peerless genius with superb talent in martial arts training. Not only that, she is also a spirit soul realm powerhouse with a super 10 rating gift. In just 3 seconds, she subdued a rebellious Iron Hand Eagle. In this year's newbie exchange, I'm afraid. The scene of Nai Lin taming a Iron Hand Eagle appeared in Xia Chuyuan's mind. Zhong Sanqian was also completely shocked. With this inherent skill, he is only ranked 3rd. Seems like our God Rare sect is about to become a laughingstock again. Sigh. The God Rare sect was getting weaker and weaker. It was not good for him to be the sect master. If he were to lose this year, his position would probably be taken. The next morning, Xia Chuyuan came to the place where Long Fei was imprisoned and told him the results. Do you have any objections? Long Fei shook his head and said, No, I don't have it at all. Xia Chuyuan sighed and said, It's all my fault that I don't have enough power, otherwise. Long Fei said, Elder Xia, please do not say that. If it wasn't for you, I'm afraid the outcome would have been different. I'm afraid we're going to die here. Long Fei was a wise man. Long Fei smiled and said, Elder Xia, there is no need to worry. I will be at God Rare sect and will not leave. His purpose in coming to God Rare sect had not been achieved. He definitely wouldn't leave. In the past, he had only found a way for his mother to leave the Devil Island, but now, he had a few more things to add, such as crushing Fang Tianhan. He didn't use a skill, but his own strength to crush him. The boulder in Xia Chuyuan's heart was put down, and he said, It's great that you can think like this. However, Long Fei, I'm afraid that I won't be able to help you anymore in the future. Long Fei nodded, I can bear it. Chapter 1771 Impulse is the Devil. Chapter 1771 Impulse is the Devil. Xia Chuyuan's intentions were very clear. In the future, he would not be able to help Long Fei anymore. Killing someone in the God Rare sect and getting the number 1 disciple, Fang Tianhan, to be punished, Long Fei had already displeased many people and many people would target him. Then came the beginning of the ordeal. Not only Long Fei, even those who were with Long Fei would be affected. The moment he stepped out of the cell, Long Fei turned his head and looked elsewhere, and did not see Lu Qin, Mu Bing and the rest. I hope they can take it. Then, a disciple walked up and coldly glanced at Long Fei, and said, Come with me, I name you junior brother. Name. That was, he would remember a name in the God Rare sect. Whether or not he could become a disciple of the God Rare sect would depend on his own luck. Long Fei did not care about titles. He followed behind the disciple and passed through the small path, bypassing the forest, and only stopped after about an hour. The disciple pointed at a thatched cottage not far away that was almost half collapsed, and said, Well, from now on you will live there. Heh. Long Fei was slightly taken aback, then laughed bitterly. Is this the treatment for nominal disciples? That disciple said in disdain, What? Do you still want us to prepare a mansion for you? Kid, what's your identity? If you have a place to live, you'll be burning incense. If you're capable, don't stay. Leave God Rare sect. Humph. He spoke with disdain. They did not place Long Fei in their eyes at all. That's true. He was an official disciple, Long Fei was only a nominal disciple, and a nominal disciple with a crippled talent at that. In this era where the powerhouse was the ruler, who would respect the weak? Long Fei said, I'll be staying. The thatched cottage in front of them was abandoned just like before. Not to mention living here, even cats and dogs couldn't stay there and could collapse at any moment. Moreover, the yard was overgrown with weeds. This place was basically an abandoned place, and some elder must have deliberately made things difficult for him. That disciple coldly snorted, and said, From tomorrow morning, you can report to the outer sect storage room. You can leave at 7 in the afternoon, but the condition is that you have to complete the mission you gave us. If you dare to slack off, or dare to contradict an elder, senior brother, then you should prepare to receive punishment. Long Fei said, Thank you for your reminder, senior brother. Please take care, take care. He did not put Long Fei in his eyes, and Long Fei did not place him in his eyes either. Just this kind of low-level disciple, he did not have much experience killing others. Looking at the small yard full of weeds in front of him, Long Fei laughed bitterly. Fuck, I didn't expect it to be even more difficult than when I was in God's martial continent. It doesn't matter. This little bit of difficulty is not difficult for me. Back then, I was also a skilled worker. He took out a weapon from the space ring and used it in front of the sickle. Treat the weeds first. As Long Fei mowed the weeds, he thought about his future plans. Ma Fenglei should be the limit of the blasting fist. If he was a bit stronger, the blasting fist would have been completely suppressed and would not be able to be used. Level is one reason. Also, the blasting fist itself is also. Suddenly, Long Fei thought that the blasting fist could also be upgraded, and this skill also had a god-tier experience bar. When he opened the system, the fusion of Rachel and Fruit of Shock still continued. Long Fei could not help but complain, "Damn, how long has it been?" After that, he ignored them. Long Fei looked at the skill of the blasting fist, and muttered, "Only the skill devouring can raise the level of the blasting fist, the skill of devouring. It's a skill that I have to learn before. Sure. Let's give it a try first." Long Fei stopped cutting the grass on the ground and sat down, then opened his own cultivation techniques column, Perfection of Fierce Steps, Virtual Mirror, Divine Beast Fist, Prajna Sword. Let's try using the Prajna Sword first. Ding. System notification. Do you want to devour the Prajna Sword? Yes, sir. The Prajna Sword disappeared from the cultivation technique column, followed by a system notification sound. Ding. Blasting Fist experience plus 100 points. Heh. Although the Prajna Sword has not been cultivated to the Great Perfection stage, it is still a pretty good technique. It only increases 100 experience points. Isn't that too darned? Long Fei immediately wanted to stop. However, looking at the experience slot on the blasting fist, he had the urge to let it level up. Clenching his teeth, he said, "I'm going all out." Dragon Step. Ding. Blasting Fist experience plus 500 points. Your sister. Your elder's skill is at the Great Perfection stage. It's only increased by 500 points. Why don't you King die? Long Fei's heart sank. He was completely stupefied. Sure. To see how awesome you are. He was too impulsive. Long Fei was impulsive. Raising his sleeves, he was already on the verge of losing control. Killing Sword Technique Devour. Ding. Blasting Fist experience plus 80 points. 10,000 Beast Divine Fist Devour. Ding. Blasting Fist experience plus 800 points. One skill after another disappeared. The more they fused with Long Fei, the more impulsive they became. They simply could not stop at all. Long Fei's skill had been completely used up. The entire skill bar was now devoid of skills. Other than the still fusing lightning cut and vibrating fruit, Long Fei no longer had any other skills. Moreover, he, who had lost control of his brain, became even more furious. Ding. System notification. Do you wish to fuse the 8 immortals? Yes, sir. I'm giving it my all. Ding. Blasting Fist experience plus 500,000 points. Oh my god. It's only 100,000 points, but... Suddenly, Long Fei calmed down, and as if a bucket of ice water had been poured down his head, he instantly calmed down. Looking at the system's notification, his gaze glazed over as he muttered, the 8 immortals, I fused them together the moment I appeared, System bro, can we go back? I was wrong. I'm regretting it now. Let's go back. I'm begging you. The system did not respond. Long Fei really wanted to give himself a slap. He impulsively threw the 8 immortals into nothingness. Impulse is the devil. Luckily the goddess scroll is still here, otherwise he would really be at a loss. He complained in his heart. But after looking at the blasting fist's experience bar, he had already reached the edge of leveling up. His experience points had reached 95% state, so a few more skills should be enough to level up. Thinking that the blasting fist would level up soon, Long Fei felt better about the loss of the 8 immortals. I'm sorry. The next time we meet, I will definitely control my emotions. Long Fei secretly apologized in his heart. Looking at the little remaining experience remaining in the blasting fist leveling up, he muttered in his heart, I need to think of a way to learn more techniques. Where do you find so many cultivation techniques? God Rare Sect should have one, right? Hee hee. If we can go inside. Chapter 1772, Senior Sister. Chapter 1772, Senior Sister Long Fei fiercely swallowed his saliva. However, he was unable to enter the Kung Fu storage pavilion. It was because of his identity. In here. Long Fei didn't even know where the Kung Fu storage pavilion was. No rush. Tomorrow. Long Fei started to mow the grass again. Other than the auxiliary method, Long Fei did not use any other techniques in the techniques column. All of these did not matter, as he had the abnormal system. As long as he could obtain the level increase of the blasting fist, everything was worth it. When he met Powerhouse at the peak of Greenstar, he could no longer suppress the blasting fist. The night passed in silence. Long Fei piled the weeds together and slept for an entire night. However, his stomach was a little unbearably hungry. Early morning. Long Fei came to the General Affairs office early to report. These people were mostly honorary disciples like him, who did not pass the examination, but were talented disciples. The God Rare sect had allowed them to train here for a few years, and in those few years, they would be able to participate in the examination and become an official disciple. If they did not have a good relationship with each other, they could still stay. Being able to stay in 10 sects and become a nominal disciple was something ordinary people looked up to and did not even exist. Long Fei looked around. Amongst them, Long Fei did not see Lei Ju and the rest, and thought to himself, I hope your situation will be better. Who is that person? Knew. Him. Senior brother, I know, this is the person who was messing around the day before yesterday called Long Fei. It's him. Ha ha ha. I never thought that he would actually be dead. I never thought that he would still be able to live, and even kill the outer sect leader of our God Rare sect S, the second in command elder. Exactly. His talent is all wasted. Does he think he still has a chance? I've been a nominal disciple for 2 years and I don't even have a chance. Does he still have a chance? Humph. He's overestimating himself. I heard that many people are dissatisfied with him. It was Elder Shia who used his life to guarantee it for him, but Elder Shia seems to have already been stripped of his identity as an elder. The surroundings resounded with all sorts of noises. Most of them were mocking him. Among these voices, there was some that held useful information about Long Fei, but when he heard that Xia Chuan could not use his life as a guarantee to protect him, Long Fei's heart tensed up. He owed her a favor. If he did not rise up, Xia Chuan would lose face too. Cough, cough. Coughing sounds could be heard from the duck's throat as a fattening middle-aged man walked out. He looked like an old eunuch on TV, his fingers clutching onto his orchid. The head steward is here. The head steward is here. A few of the registered disciples immediately revealed a loving smile as they bent their knees to welcome him. Seeing their smiles, Long Fei couldn't help but be nervous. F***K, a bunch of gay men. The manager was called Li Yuanqing. He walked up, glanced around, and his gaze unconsciously fell on Long Fei who was at the back of the crowd. In addition, the head supervisor took out a small book and said, Room of Martial Arts Training needs a disciple to spar with him today. He will earn 5 contribution points if he does. This contribution point will be recorded on all of you. Who's willing to go? Everyone listened. He immediately shrunk. There was a trace of fear in his eyes. Li Yuanqing slightly said, No one is willing to go. And then, one of the disciples laughed, Head supervisor, a few newcomers came today. This is a good opportunity for them to gain experience. Such a good opportunity should be given to them. Yes, you're right. Li Yuanqing took a glance at those unfamiliar faces, and said, Which one of you is willing to go? A rookie immediately said, Lord Manager, there's a crippled genius among us. We should give him such a good opportunity. Yes. Let him go. That's him. A few of them pointed at Long Fei. Li Yuanqing looked at Long Fei and asked, Are you willing to go? Long Fei laughed bitterly. Do I have a choice? Li Yuanqing said, Our General Affairs Office has always been very fair, and we approve of the new little brother going to Room of Martial Arts Training to spar with him. Then, other than Long Fei, everyone else raised their hands. You. We need to make the room of martial arts training accompany them. If they are unhappy, you will be even more unhappy. Do you understand? As Li Yuanqing spoke, he gave Long Fei a coquettish look. Immediately, Long Fei's chrysanthemum tightened even more. His heart turned cold. F***ck. Long Yang's mania. Long Fei muttered in his heart, fans are everywhere. Not long later, Li Yuanqing's coquettish voice sounded, go back and busy yourself, we need to report back at 6 p.m. The crowd dispersed. Long Fei was led by a disciple to room of martial arts training. Many nominal disciples also came to room of martial arts training, but they were not training partners, but to clean up. How long do you think he'll be able to last? It depends on the person. If it's someone like senior brother Wang Tai, I estimate that he would at most fall to the ground at 3,000. But I heard that senior brother Wang Tai has gone into closed-door cultivation. Other than senior brother Wang Tai, there is another powerful individual in room of martial arts training. Their gazes turned cold. He immediately said at the same time, are you talking about Ba Wang Hua? Wow. She is much more powerful than the senior brother, and her strength is also extremely terrifying. I heard that she is one of the hottest candidates this year. It's here, it's here. Long Fei was brought to the training grounds. A few room of martial arts training disciples immediately surrounded him. So this is today's punching bag. He's so skinny, how much can he carry? Isn't that Long Fei? It's him. The one that killed the Great Elder. Martial arts arena exploded once. What kind of status did Great Elder have? The Hall Master of the Outer Sect Room of Martial Arts Training S. More than half of the Room of Martial Arts Training S were his disciples, so this time Long Fei had entered the bandit's nest. Although Ma Fenglei was not a good person and had exploited them before, but to step foot on Long Fei to seek revenge was something every one of them wanted to do. Some people rubbed their hands together, releasing their battle power. Don't move, he's the live target of senior sisters sparring today. A person shouted. Senior sister? Which senior sister is it? There is another senior sister, senior sister. As soon as he finished, everyone was stunned and did not dare to move forward. At this moment, bam! A loud catcher sound rang out, followed by a series of catcher sounds. These were the sounds of stone shattering. This weight. The scene in Long Fei's mind was already unimaginable. How fat was that? Ba Wang Hua. Senior sister. Long Fei already felt a chill coming over. But the crowd moved away, but what Long Fei did not expect was that it was not a ton-level female walking towards him, but a sexy figure, and there was even a trace of enchanting beauty in her eyes. This is the Ba Wang Hua. Was sparring with such a woman a suffering? This is welfare. I don't owe you, you owe me. I don't owe you, you owe me. Ba Wang Hua. It really was fierce. With every step he took, his body would shake violently, causing the ground to shake as well. Long Fei could feel it from over 10 meters away, and this caused him to think of a single word, violent wave. Every step he took left a deep footprint on the ground. He didn't even know how he walked out. Long Fei looked around and saw many strange footprints. His heart tensed up. Damn, could it be that all of these came from this crazy girl? Boom. The Ba Wang Hua suddenly stopped. Standing 3 meters away from Long Fei, he took a glance at him, and said with a dull expression, "You are today's sparring partner?" Long Fei nodded his head. "My name is Long Fei, senior sister, please advise me." He bowed slightly in a very serious manner. He had to be polite, he had to let this ferocious girl know that Long Fei was a well-mannered gentleman. Long Fei. Suddenly, the space between Ba Wang Hua's eyebrows tightened. "You're the one who killed the great clan elder?" In between his brows, Long Fei felt a fierce chi. Long Fei lightly nodded, and said, "I am in self-defense." Not waiting for him to finish, Ba Wang Hua suddenly roared out. Last month's new cultivation technique was the roaring dragon subduing tiger fist. He took a step forward. A deep footprint appeared on the ground started to crack, just like an earthquake wave was heading towards Long Fei. Its speed was extremely ferocious, so fast that it made people's hair stand on end. At the same time, a stream of pure physical energy rushed towards him. At this moment, the surrounding people immediately gathered together. It's open, it's open. How many punches can this kid endure from Bawang Hua? 1 punch for 1, 2 punches for 1 for 5, 3 punches for 1 for 10, If it's counter-killing, then it's 100 with me. He's a lunatic. How could someone like him kill someone else? He will definitely be killed instantly by the Bawang Hua. I bet 2 divine pellets on 1 punch. I want a punch too. I only threw a punch. The audience started to bet immediately, but these people who were betting on Long Fei were surprisingly unified, betting on Long Fei's strength to be destroyed in 1 punch, because they knew very well the power of Bawang Hua. Moreover, the Bawang Hua was currently in a state of anger, and its power was becoming more ferocious. Under this situation, how could Long Fei defend against it? Holy *T. Can't you trust a new person? No matter what, he is still a famous person. No matter what, he killed the Great Elder. Are you all that suspicious of him? The disciple who opened the stage was called LV Shuangquan. The martial arts training was normal, but in God Rare sect, he was like a fish in water. There were all sorts of rumors. He did not think that opening a meeting would result in such a result. From his point of view, Long Fei couldn't even withstand a single punch. With just Long Fei's physique. 1 punch. Big loss, big loss. We're going to lose out this time. Brat, you have to earn some strength. At least 2 punches to the ground would be good. LV Shuangquan clasped his hands together as though he was worshipping Buddha. He did not dare open his eyes. In the blink of an eye. Roar. The tiger roared. Boom. The dragon roar exploded. Both fists moved at the same time, 1 fist against a tiger, 1 fist against a dragon's roar. Both fists pulled the bow and directly struck Long Fei's chest, with an extremely ferocious momentum and an unstoppable momentum. Holy *T. Now I finally understand why you're called Bawang Hua. You're practically an overlord. I don't even know what your relationship with the word flower is. Long Fei's palms were drenched in cold sweat, his right fist moving. He was not a man to be killed. Since someone was going to attack him, he naturally had to fight them head-on. Don't be terrified, it's just going to get your revenge. At this moment, unknowingly, Li Yuanqing's duck voice suddenly sounded out, and he said lightly, Long Fei, you're just here to spar. Do you know what sparring means? Even if you were to be trained by the senior brother, you are not allowed to backhand, understand? If you dare to retaliate, I will remove your identity as a nominal disciple. I can't fight back. They're just live targets. Moreover, how could a nominal disciple be a match for these room of martial arts training S? The consequences of retaliating would be even greater. S brows tightened. Now that Xia Chuan had already been implicated and no one would protect him anymore, if he could not even protect his identity as a nominal disciple, how could he be worthy of everything Xia Chuan had done for him? How could he find a way to hide in the God Rare sect and leave the Devil Island? How can I find out more about my mother? Endure. Long Fei crossed his hands. He lowered his body slightly, clenched his teeth, and shouted out in a deep voice, Come. Boom. The punch landed. Bang. When it hit the back of Long Fei's arm, bone-cracking sounds came out, as though it was going to break. Long Fei's body was also blown away. Bam. He hit the ground heavily. His internal organs were tumbling about, and all the meridians in his body felt as if they were breaking inch by inch. His hands, in particular, had gone completely numb and he had lost consciousness. The power of this punch. Too powerful. Moreover, Bawang Hua's cultivation was much higher than Long Fei's, but he did not use his realm's superiority to crush her, otherwise, his power would have been even stronger. 1 punch kill. Instant kill. Ha ha ha. Lose money, hurry up and lose money. A large group surrounded LV Shuangquan, causing his face to turn extremely ugly. He muttered to himself, I'm bankrupt, I'm bankrupt. The Bawang Hua looked at the distant Long Fei who was lying on the ground and said softly, This punch is for the great clan elder who brought me here to take revenge. It could also be considered a favor to know what was happening. If it wasn't for Great Elder, she would still be in that mountain cave. Even though the Great Clan Elder had brought her to the God Rare sect, and her family had exhausted all of their assets. You don't owe me anything, the Bawang Hua said lightly. After saying that, she also turned around and was about to leave. At this moment, everyone thought that when Long Fei was knocked unconscious by Bawang Hua, he would suddenly crawl back up from the ground and lightly said, I don't owe you, but you owe me. Unless you can let me grab you by the chest. Otherwise, I will not let you go so easily. He stood up as he spoke. Long Fei's expression was a little sinister. This was the first time he was knocked down by a woman. If he didn't get back this round, would he still be considered a man? Just at this moment, LV Shuangchuan suddenly stopped his payments and laughed out loud. I won, ha ha ha, good boy, I can't wait to kiss you. No one wanted to beat Long Fei up, but he suddenly stood up. The Bawang Hua also did not expect this. Turning around to look at the Long Fei in the distance, she heard the filthy words he said and became angry. Don't you want to live? Long Fei grinned. Let me touch your chest, otherwise I won't stop today. Just touch it. I just want to feel that sensation. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, the Bawang Hua attacked once again. Long Fei's gaze darkened. This time, I definitely won't let you get blown away, hey. Chapter 1774, The Most Coquettish Position. Chapter 1774, The most coquettish position being sent flying by a woman was very embarrassing. Long Fei's gaze was fixated on the Bawang Hua's every movement. He did not miss even the slightest detail. According to the game's description, Bawang Hua should be one of those violent warrior. This kind of warrior is very powerful, but it has a fatal weakness. That is, only close range attacks can reach the opponent. If we don't let her get close, she'll be crippled. Long Fei quickly analyzed it in his mind. Any opponent had their own weakness, and Bawang Hua was no exception. However, Bawang Hua should be at the Green Star realm, but Long Fei completely could not understand her speed, so it was impossible for her to rely on her speed to avoid her attacks. If her speed was too low, then what could he do to not let her get close? At this moment, LV Shuangchuan said loudly once again, it's a reopening, we can't afford to lose it, and we have to bet everything we can, the odds are still the same, fast and fast, we can't afford to lose it. A wave of incitement. Immediately, many disciples once again took out their secret stash of money. Mother *K, I'm going all out. I bet 10 divine spirit pills on this one punch. Bawang Hua is already angry, but this time she will not be merciful. I also bet 10 crystals on one punch. Me too. I can't do it, he can still climb up. Me too. In the hearts of gamblers, they would always want to turn things around. S forehead couldn't help but let out a thin layer of sweat. Almost everyone was betting their fists once again. As LV Shuangchuan looked at Long Fei's calm and composed expression, he broke out in a cold sweat. Brat, you have to endure it. Don't say that you can't hold on. Then I will lose so much that I won't even be able to wear my pants anymore. He was very worried. After all, due to her anger, she was especially fierce, and among the outer sect disciples, there were very few who could stop her. A rookie? Or could an injured rookie withstand it? Everyone in the martial arts arena was looking at Long Fei. Half of the surrounding city's fists were staring at him. When Bawang Hua attacked, his fists released gusts of wind, which exploded in the air. The dragon roared and the tiger roared. Compared to the punch just now, the power of this punch was more ferocious and surging. This boxing style was purely based on power. The stronger the power, the stronger the strength of the punch. Boom! A punch flew out. Bang, bang, bang. A series of sonic booms rang out. This was the sound of the air being shattered, and from the powerful friction, one could clearly see how powerful it was. Here. This is the sharpest punch of the roaring dragon subduing tiger fist. I never thought that she would be able to reach such a level in the short span of a month. She truly is a genius in the strength system. There's no hope for that kid anymore. Bawang Hua is getting serious. How many people in the outer sect of the entire room of martial arts training are her opponents? Furthermore, he is still a disciple in name, and I heard that his inherent skill and cultivation have all been crippled, making him just a trash. Quite a few elders began to whisper amongst themselves. They all thought that Long Fei wouldn't make it, that he wouldn't. Huff, huff. Long Fei tried his best to calm his breathing. Watching Bawang Hua's fist descend, he slightly closed his eyes, tranquil heart. His actions shocked everyone. What is he doing? He closed his eyes. Is he admitting defeat? No, he probably wants to kill himself. Ha ha ha. I'm going to win this time. His reaction is also right. How could he possibly be a match for Bawang Hua, sending him back home with a punch? LV Shuangquan's face was pale, seeing how Long Fei did not even bother to defend himself. His heart felt like it was about to break. It's over, it's over, it's over, it's all over, I'm going to go bankrupt. Bawang Hua was also stunned. However, she didn't think that Long Fei was admitting defeat and courting death, but instead, she thought that Long Fei was looking down on her. When the power in his fist exploded, it violently struck down. Ah! Bawang Hua roared. She was a standard strong man, a fierce man at that. Boom! The fist descended. Long Fei felt a gust of wind pouncing towards him, his body slipped lightly, and his entire body became like a piece of paper. With a twist, he moved slightly, without any feeling of being able to move at all. One slide, one twist, one movement. 3 movements. It seemed to be very slow. He had no strength at all, and his movements were rather rough, as if he had never cultivated in the first place. But the most important thing was, his body cleverly dodged Bawang Hua's punch. His punch was empty. The sudden turn of events caused even the Bawang Hua himself to be stunned. He stood in his original position for a moment, looking at Long Fei without moving his eyeballs. At this time, the entire hall was silent. A pin drop could be heard. That split second just now was too fast. It was so fast that none of them were able to react in time. However, Long Fei's 3 movements were incomparably slow, so slow that they could all see it very clearly. How could such a slow movement dodge the Bawang Hua's attack? Why? Why is that? His brain was twisting. Everyone wanted to know the answer as they stared at Long Fei. LV Shuangquan reacted the fastest. Ha ha ha. I have one, ha ha ha. Kid, I love you so much, I'll love you my entire life. He smiled brilliantly. Everyone slowly came to their senses. Bawang Hua took a step forward, his eyes blazing as he looked at Long Fei and asked, "How did you do that?" It was very hot. Wishing very much. The longing in her eyes was intense. She knew her weakness. Her attacks could only come in close range. This was her advantage, and also her weakness. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "Let me touch your chest, let me try that feeling, I will tell you." You. The Bawang Hua was slightly angered and said, "You still dare to speak dirty word. The punch you just dodged was only a punch, and it was just a coincidence. Now I want to see just how many of your punches you can dodge." In that instant, the Bawang Hua retreated. His fists sank. Buzz, buzz. The sound of a door opening could be heard from the left and right sides of the gate. 2 waves of energy could be seen with the naked eye, and Long Fei was inwardly shocked. It really is the violent warrior. However, Long Fei smirked and said, "No matter how strong your strength is, it's useless against me, because your fatal weakness is that your power must hit in order to cause harm. And my position. Hee hee. You don't understand it at all. Let me touch it. I will show you how to improve it." Bawang Hua glared, "You're courting death." Ah! Fury. Bawang Hua was completely enraged. He released all his power, and the shadow of his fist shot out like a torrential storm. A torrential rain of attacks. No matter how hard you tried to dodge it, you wouldn't be able to dodge such a high-density punch. She didn't believe that Long Fei could still hide. Chapter 1775 Senior Sister, Don't Go. Chapter 1775 Senior Sister, Don't Go. Bawang Hua did not believe it. The people around didn't believe it either. LV Shuangchuan also did not believe it. It was the first time he saw the Bawang Hua so angry that he even opened the door to her cultivation, causing him to forget to open it. Everyone in the audience was flabbergasted as they looked at Long Fei. Long Fei's body was like a thin piece of paper. He didn't put in any effort at all. It kept twisting. He didn't even get a single punch. This movement, too coquettish. This was not a cultivation technique. Had played this game for many years in his past life, so he knew that every game had its moves. If you were in a good position, it could help you avoid all powerful skills. Adding on the experiences of the two planes, his subconscious had cultivated it to the point where it was as pure as fire. He could completely control the power this berserk warrior released. His body was constantly changing. Powerful fists kept flying in front of him, but they just couldn't hit him. Moreover, Long Fei even laughed very lowly. I can't hit, I just can't hit. He was as cheap as he could be. Senior sister, your chest is so big, let me touch it, and it won't shrink down. Let me touch it. Just for a moment. Bawang Hua's face became ugly, she gnashed her teeth, she could not wait to smash Long Fei into meat paste. In this outer sect, no one dared to speak to her in such a manner. A nominal disciple had teased him in front of so many people. This rage. It was getting more and more exuberant. However, so what if it was vigorous? Her fist could not even touch the corner of Long Fei's clothes. After a few minutes, Bawang Hua had the urge to cry. Last year, during the God Rare sect's war of supremacy, she was like this. Her fist could not hit her opponent, and she was defeated by him because of his exhaustion. For the entire year, she had worked hard at cultivating and changing, constantly breaking through the limits, unleashing her strength to the extreme, and defeating last year's opponent. She thought she could go to 10 sects exchange this year. However, right now, a disciple in name had seen through her weak point that was concealed extremely well. Zhong Xian felt unconvinced. However, she had to accept it. This was her weakness. This year's 10 sects exchange did not belong to her again. This year's efforts have been in vain. I want to cry, I feel terrible. Boom. With the last punch blasted out, Bawang Hua retracted his fists, fiercely glanced at Long Fei, and turned to leave with unwillingness and grievance in his eyes. It suddenly turned into the appearance of a pitiful and delicate little woman, which made people's heart ache for her. Huh? Why aren't you fighting? Senior sister, let's continue. You haven't let me touch your chest yet. Long Fei shouted a few times, but Bawang Hua completely ignored him. If she stayed behind, she would only be mocked and teased by Long Fei. He couldn't even beat a nominal disciple like her. To her, this blow was even more painful than last year's loss in the struggle for hegemony. Even her efforts had been wasted. Hey, senior sister, don't go. That's boring, right? I haven't touched your chest yet. Long Fei grinned. He did not see the Bawang Hua looking wronged. If he did, he would definitely want to touch it even more. What a hooligan. Who? Long Fei clapped his hands and glanced at the nearby Li Yuanqing. Li Yuanqing was also looking at him. However, there was something wrong with those eyes, there was a trace of charm in them, the kind that he did not want. Long Fei felt the urge to puke. At this moment. How dare a nominal disciple act so arrogantly? To tease senior sister in public. Brat, do you think that the disciples of our room of martial arts training are dead? Suddenly. For people walked out of the crowd. The leader was a young man. He had a handsome appearance and was clad in white. In his hand was a fan. He had an elegant and unrestrained appearance. He walked up slowly. Many people were shocked. Senior brother Guoling. Senior brother has always been chasing after Bawang Hua. When he saw that Bawang Hua was wronged, he immediately stepped forward. What a man, this is the real one. Senior brother Guoling is so handsome. Many people whispered in discussion. Especially the female disciples, they all started screaming. Bawang Hua also stopped, and said slightly, Senior brother Guo, this is none of your business. What do you mean you don't care about my business? In the entire room of martial arts training, Who doesn't know that I am chasing you? If I let you suffer, I won't tolerate it. A mere nominal disciple is so arrogant, actually climbing onto our room of martial arts training's head to piss and shit, and you're still room of martial arts training's disciples. All of you are just trash. Humph. Kid. Either you kneel down and apologize to senior sister today, or let me cripple one of your hands. Otherwise, you will suffer even worse. Guoling said as he looked at Long Fei with contempt. He was not a Bawang Hua. The cultivation technique that he was cultivating, even if Long Fei were to return to his original position, he would still not be able to dodge it. Bawang Hua frowned and said, Senior Brother Guo, I'll say it again. This is none of your business. I don't need him to apologize. She did not like Guoling. He didn't like it from the first glance. With her straightforward personality, if she didn't like him, then she didn't like him. No matter what Guoling did, she still didn't like it. Long Fei saw through this point with a glance and laughed. Senior brother doesn't like you at all, can't you see that? You're courting death. One of the lackeys beside Guoling shouted. Guoling's eyes darkened. This was the pain in his heart, but even if he could not catch up to Bawang Hua, he would not let anyone get their hands on him. Long Fei's words were undoubtedly humiliating him. Immediately, Guoling became furious and stepped forward. He would not be like the Bawang Hua, with his Green Star Realm pressure pressing down with all his might. Boom, boom, boom. Can you walk? Let's see how you will move after being crushed by my aura. Humph. Trash. Guoling rushed forward with his strength. Long Fei's forehead was locked tight. Right now, he didn't have any other cultivation methods other than the blasting fist. If he continued to kill, he was afraid that he would not be able to stay in God Rare Sect. Moreover, blasting fist was the most life-saving skill, unless there was no other choice. If I use it, I won't be able to use it for 24 hours. A voice resounded in his mind. Do you want me to make a move? Long Fei shook his head and said, no need. Desperate Man was also an unfathomable trump card. I have to learn how to carry it by myself. Long Fei's brows were locked tightly together, staring at Guoling's attack. His body slightly sank, and he withstood it with all his might. Boom. Yi Zichen immediately left. Unable to hold back the rage in his chest, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Guoling sneered. He's not dead yet. Let's see how many punches you can take from me. Guoling was as fast as the wind. He attacked once again. At this moment, Bawang Hua moved. At the same time, a line of system beep sounded out in Long Fei's mind. Ding. Chapter 1776, Fusion Success, Thunder Pulse. Chapter 1776, Fusion Success, Thunder Pulse. With one move, Long Fei was not in a good mood. Guoling was unforgiving, and attacked again. Moreover, his strength was extremely strong, and he was going to cripple Long Fei. At this moment, the system suddenly sounded out. Ding. System prompt. Fusion successful. Ding. System notification. Congratulations to the player for creating the new skill Thunder Pulse. Do you wish to cultivate it? Thunder Shock. The fusion of Thunderclap and Tremor Fruit. Cultivate. Long Fei did not hesitate. He needed powerful techniques right now. The Seism fruit was very strong. It was the demon fruit with a white beard. Rachel was a Kakaxi move. When the two combined, it took 2 days to fuse together. In such a long period of time, the fused cultivation method was not weak at all. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 100 experience, 100 god power, and 100 metamorphic energy value. Abnormal value directly increased to full. Long Fei didn't have time to carefully analyze Lei Yizhen's power. Seeing Guoling rush towards him, his forehead turned sinister as he shouted, "Damn it, you think I'm afraid of you?" He rushed forward. In the distance, an elder of the room of martial arts training coldly looked at Li Yuanqing and said, "Manager Li, is this how you teach your disciple? A mere live target, for a nominal disciple to actually want to take action?" His voice was filled with a threatening tone. Li Yuanqing immediately bent his body and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't teach him well. I'll teach him properly right now. And then, Li Yuanqing bellowed, Long Fei, if you dare backhand, then your identity as a nominal disciple will be immediately removed. Get the hell out of God Rare Sec. Her voice carried a heavy pressure that directly spread to Long Fei's mind. Long Fei's footsteps paused. His fists clenched tightly. He couldn't leave the God Rare sect, but endure was not his style. Cluck, cluck, cluck. With his teeth grinding loudly, he sunk his body down and used all of his strength to defend, staring straight at Guoling. At the same time, the fist was covered with lightning, producing a light crackling sound that only Long Fei could hear. Guoling started laughing loudly, ha ha ha. Brat, your hands are just a live target, and you are just trash that will train for us. Do you understand? Ha ha ha. While laughing complacently, Guoling chopped down with his palm. This palm was extremely ferocious, and Long Fei might not even be able to withstand it. But the only thing he could do was to carry it. At this moment, in front of a body, Long Fei was stunned. Senior sister? The Bawang Hua blocked in front of him, and the power door on his right arm fiercely swung open. He clenched his right fist. He directly threw it up. Rumble. The impact of his strength caused a loud explosion. Guoling was forced to continuously retreat, his arms went numb, his joints became dislocated, and his face turned pale. What made him unhappy was not the sharp pain in his arms, but the actions of the Bawang Hua. Junior sister, you actually stood up for him? Are you out of your mind? After being enraged, he roared angrily, and regretted it immediately after finishing his sentence. He changed his tone immediately. Junior sister, how could you stand up for him? He was teasing you just now. In terms of strength, he was not a match for the Bawang Hua. He also didn't think that the Bawang Hua would suddenly attack and stop him. Bawang Hua slightly said, "He's my live target today, other than me, no one else is allowed to touch him." Many people looked at Bawang Hua in surprise. He was clearly being harassed by Long Fei just now, and he actually stood up for him. Long Fei was also a little confused, but he still said very politely, "Thank you, senior sister." Just now, he wanted to release the thunder tremor. While clenching his fists tightly, many thin bolts of lightning appeared between the gaps of his fists. These lightning bolts were densely packed in the air, like glass cracks. At the same time, the strong shockwave exploded outwards with Long Fei's fist as the center. If the Bawang Hua can't stop it, Long Fei would not sit still and wait for death. Endure was not his style. His personality was unyielding and unyielding. Just now, your ass was bleeding. Bawang Hua did not say anything, nor did he look at Long Fei, and only said slightly, "I'm going to cultivate another type of fist technique. There are too many people here, come out with me." Huh! Long Fei was startled. Bawang Hua shouted, "Didn't you hear it? I want you to come out with me, don't let me say it a third time." Long Fei nodded, and said, "Oh." And then, Bawang Hua walked out with large strides. But it was a little different from before. Her steps were not that heavy, and there were no footprints under her feet. Long Fei looked at her back, and was slightly shocked in his heart. Injured? The collision just now had forcefully struck out of Bawang Hua's body. Furthermore, she did not retreat, nor did she lose her strength. Guoling stared straight at Long Fei, and said solemnly, "Kid, tomorrow, I will definitely blast you to the ground." "Damn it. Slut." Guoling huffed and puffed. Being robbed by a nominal disciple in front of so many people. This was such a great shame and humiliation. How was he going to deal with this in the future? Guoling immediately walked to Li Yuanqing's side and shouted, "You need him to spar with me tomorrow, do you hear me?" Li Yuanqing did not dare offend him, and immediately said, "Yes, yes." But Guoling couldn't wait until tomorrow. The anger in his heart had to be vented. LV Shuangchuan looked at Long Fei and said, "How cool. Being protected by the senior sister on the first day, how awesome. Kid, you are my idol. Ha ha ha. It's you who made me earn so much today." LV Shuangchuan smiled like a flower, she was extremely happy, and then she also followed him out of the training grounds. He didn't want to cultivate. It was also at this time A few disciples silently followed behind him. Ba Hua and Long Fei walked out of the training grounds. He walked all the way into the forest. Ba Hua said, "Is there anyone following them?" Long Fei turned around to take a look, and said, "No." Ba Hua slightly said, "You can leave now. I don't need you to practice with me this year." Huh. Long Fei looked at Ba Hua and asked, "Senior sister, are you alright? I told you to go. Didn't you hear me?" Ba Hua bellowed, and suddenly he was furious. Moreover, his face turned red. Long Fei said, I'll go. After which, he left in big strides, but Long Fei did not go far. Instead, he hid behind a big tree. Poochie. Seeing that Long Fei had disappeared, she could no longer hold on, and her body sank as she spat out a mouthful of black blood. Her face also turned pale, and then became extremely ugly, all the while she was carrying Long Fei, wiping the black blood from the corner of her mouth, and said unwillingly, "I never thought that Guoling's cultivation would increase so quickly. Junior sister, there are a lot of things you haven't thought of yet." Not far away, Guoling slowly walked out with an evil smile on his face. Chapter 1777, The Good Things That Can Make Him Sky. Chapter 1777, The Good Things That Can Make Him Sky. I just wanted to see what exactly you were going to do with that trash. I didn't expect. The smile on Guoling's face became more and more evil, and he said, I didn't think that there would actually be an unexpected gain. Ha ha ha. I really got lucky today. Ba Hua forcefully suppressed the injuries in his body, and asked softly, Guoling, what are you planning to do? For what? A man, a woman, a small forest devoid of people. What else can I do? Guoling took a step forward and stared at Ba Hua's chest. Ba Hua took a step back and said, You dare? Why would I not dare? Junior sister, I chased you for 2 years, but what about you? I, Guoling, have never been able to get my hands on a woman. I'll tell you the truth, I am nothing but a desire to conquer you, but you don't know what's good for you. You actually attacked me for a nominal disciple today. You have caused me to lose a lot of face. Humph. Junior sister, my patience is gone too. I will personally destroy the things that I, Guoling, cannot obtain. But now, hee, I can get it again. Guoling slowly walked forward a few steps. Ba Hua also retreated a few steps, looking anxious. She was severely injured, and she didn't have much strength left. Right now, he was not Guoling's match at all. However, Ba Hua was not one to easily accept his fate, and said, Senior brother, if you dare touch me, I will definitely report it to the elders. At that time, I'm afraid you won't be able to stay in God Rare sect. Your dream will be to enter the inner sect, right? Ha ha ha. Junior sister, are you stupid? Do you dare to say the truth? If that was the case, who would not be able to stay in the God Rare sect? I'm afraid it's you, ha ha ha. Guoling had already thought of everything. How could a woman easily say such a thing? Ba Hua had an unyielding personality, but she was still a woman. It was impossible for her to say it. Ba Hua's face tightened as his heart burned with anger. His body trembled slightly as he said, Guoling, there's nothing that I don't dare to do. Guoling laughed lewdly. Junior sister, I advise you to enjoy this properly. Don't worry, I will definitely make you feel comfortable. Heh. While they were talking, Guoling moved and suddenly rushed forward. Ba Hua's expression tensed up, and he suddenly shouted, Help! Guoling laughed, and said, Call out, this place is so remote, even if you scream your throat off, no one will hear you, ha ha ha. Ba Hua only wanted to find a remote place to heal his injuries. However, who would have thought that? He felt incomparable regret. Ba Hua crazily stood at his side, his back sticking to the tree. And at this time, Guoling suddenly suppressed down that perverted smile and gulped down his saliva. At this moment, he swallowed a small pill and said excitedly, Junior sister, I will make you feel good. Ha ha ha. He swallowed the pill. The medicinal strength quickly spread, and in a few seconds, Guoling's body reacted strongly, his face flushed red, as he became extremely excited. Ha ha ha. Bring it on. At this moment, the air was filled with thin streaks of lightning, visible to the naked eye. It was as if space had split apart. "What is this?" Guoling muttered. Crack, crack, crack. The crackling electric light shone out with sparks. It was extremely intense. He turned his gaze, and not far away, Xuan'Arbai's incomparably light suddenly exploded forth. At the same time, the thin electric light in front of him suddenly exploded, forming an extremely powerful shockwave. His mind and consciousness felt as if the sky and earth were turning upside down, causing him to be unable to stand steadily. Boom. Thunder, tremor, rumble. With that attack, it directly landed on Guoling's body. His body formed a straight line and immediately flew out, smashing apart a few towering trees. The strength was unleashed. The electrical light in the air disappeared, and the Xuan'Arbai's lightning light also disappeared. What Bawang Hua did not expect was, looking at Long Fei in front of him, he asked, "It's you?" Long Fei stared at the fainted Guoling in the distance, and was extremely furious, scolding, "I haven't even touched you, and you want to attack me? Who the F***K do you think you are? If there wasn't someone in martial arts arena, I would have knocked you down. How dare you follow me?" Ah! Long Fei was very angry. At this moment, a few figures appeared outside the small forest. Senior brother, what happened? Such a big commotion. Could something have happened? Let's go take a look. Immediately, Bawang Hua thought about Long Fei's current situation. If he was discovered, Long Fei would definitely not be able to escape the punishment, and immediately said, "Let's go." Long Fei was startled. Indeed, if people saw him attacking Guoling, there would indeed be trouble. However, he wasn't willing to accept this. Long Fei stared at Guoling and said, "Grandson, you can consider yourself lucky today, but..." While they were talking, Long Fei stomped down viciously, causing Long Fei to feel that it was strange. There's obviously no bone, so how could there be a bone fracture? And then, Long Fei laughed wickedly again, and said, "Since you like the little pills, then I have a few here for you to enjoy as much as you want." Long Fei escaped out of a pitch-black pill and directly threw it into Guoling's mouth. "This can make you feel good about yourself, hey?" The Bawang Hua urged, hurry up, it won't be good if someone discovers us." Her voice was very low, as if she was having a clandestine love affair. After that, Long Fei immediately ran towards Bawang Hua. Bawang Hua grabbed Long Fei's hand and quickly ran out from the other side of the small forest. After Guoling swallowed the pill, thunderclaps sounded out in his stomach, and his reaction speed was faster than even his yang strengthening pill. In 2 seconds, his butt was already cracking, but he was still unconscious and did not know about all of this. This kind of pill was almost fatal. And then there was Long Fei. The two of them ran all the way until they were out of the forest before they stopped. Bawang Hua was panting heavily, his chest moving up and down, wave after wave. The key was, she even held Long Fei's hand. This was the first time Long Fei had been dragged by the hands by a girl as he ran. It felt pretty good. The Bawang Hua felt that it was strange. Seeing that he was holding Long Fei's hand, he suddenly trembled and let go of his hand. His expression became awkward. Anger was also a bit awkward. He remained in a daze for 2 minutes. Bawang Hua regained his composure and asked, "What did you feed him?" Long Fei laughed. "Good stuff. Something that can make him ascend to the heavens." Chapter 1778, Stinking Rogue. Chapter 1778, Stinking Rogue. Long Fei would never take out normal things. If he were to take it out, it would definitely be a good item. Guaranteed something that would make Guoling wish for death. Bawang Hua was very curious. What exactly is it? Furthermore, you are too cruel to actually break his leg. She could see very clearly. Moreover, the cracking sound was very clear. Although she said that Long Fei was fierce, in her heart, she wished that she could break his life. He felt very relieved in his heart. Long Fei smiled and said, "If you're not ruthless, you won't be able to stand steadily. People should be more ruthless." "Right. Why didn't you tell me that you were injured?" "Luckily I didn't go too far, otherwise, you would." Long Fei felt a lingering fear. Under that kind of situation, the Bawang Hua was definitely done for. How could a girl meet people in the future? Bawang Hua was also shocked in his heart, and said solemnly, I never thought Guoling was such a person, thank you. What are you thanking me for? How about, you let me? Long Fei looked at both sides of the Bawang Hua's chest. He had seen large ones, but he had never seen such a large one. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Bawang Hua glared at him and instantly killed him. Long Fei could only shut his mouth and laughed when he saw the murderous look in Bawang Hua's eyes. I didn't say anything. Bawang Hua said, that's more like it. Next time, if you dare say that you want to touch something, I will show you. Right. What's that move of yours called? Its power is so strong. I have never seen such a cultivation technique before. There is a huge vibration and even the air is cracking, yet it also has the power of lightning. It is two entirely different attributes, but it is just that I am not proficient enough. Bawang Hua was very curious. Thinking about the move that Long Fei used, and thinking about his battle with Long Fei in martial arts arena, his heart shivered and he asked, did you already know this move? Because your chief steward didn't allow you to use it, so. You're only a 9-star god, but your strength has completely surpassed your current level. How did you do it? Why didn't my fist hit you? Is that really just a footstep? For a moment, the problem was like a machine gun being fired. She was like that. It was a bit like a northeast girl. Once they got to know each other, they would talk a lot. Long Fei said, do you want to know? Let me. The look in Bawang Hua's eyes instantly changed. Long Fei immediately said, let me think for a moment. Bawang Hua slightly said, that's more like it, if not I will teach you a lesson. Long Fei said, let's first talk about your matter. You are like a berserk warrior, your explosive strength is very strong, but you have a fatal weakness, you cannot attack remotely, you can only approach them. If there is someone faster than you, or who can attack you remotely, you are dead. How did I become a berserk warrior? I'm a fighter. Also, what is a ranged attack? Why don't I understand? Are you a person from this world? Are you from another world? Bawang Hua asked doubtfully. Zhong Xian was perplexed, unable to comprehend the situation at all. Long Fei was also instantly angered, he held onto his head and thought for a long time, then said, let's first find something to eat, I'm really hungry. He was powerless to continue. No way. I won't let you go if you don't explain yourself. Bawang Hua put both of his hands on his waist, and suddenly shook his chest. It felt like he was toppling mountains and overturning seas. Long Fei really wanted to go up and play. Long Fei rolled his eyes slightly, and said, I don't understand. Let's fight through actual combat. This will be better, and you'll accept it faster. Actual combat. Close combat. A melee fight. Isn't this the same as touching wherever you want? Every part of his body still wants to escape my hands. No. My hand should be the one holding the dragon claw. However, if I could fully comprehend Wei Xiaobao's famous ultimate skill, that would be great. Long Fei's heart began to thump with excitement. His face was full of vulgarity. Bawang Hua looked at him. Long Fei asked, why are you looking at me like that? If you do not want to comprehend it and master it faster, then you will only have to fight in actual combat. I will teach you how to move, how to fight against someone faster than you, and how to not get kited. Very serious. Very serious. The Bawang Hua said slightly, looking at your serious expression, you shouldn't be speaking nonsense. All right then let's begin. Long Fei immediately said, wait first, you are injured and my cultivation is not as good as yours. We do not need to use too much strength, in case we get hurt, I do not care, I am just afraid that your injuries will worsen. Bawang Hua said, come, I will suppress my cultivation. Long Fei secretly rejoiced, and thought in his heart, why aren't you touching your entire body now? This time, he was elated, ha ha ha. I am a genius. And then, Long Fei's posture changed, and he said faintly, I'm starting. Bawang Hua was also extremely serious as he said, come. Long Fei rushed forward with a serious expression on his face. With a shout, he said, Look clearly at my position. Ba Wang Hua quickly gazed at the bottom of Long Fei's feet. He. Success in attracting your attention. Both of Long Fei's hands clawed fiercely, and he roared in his heart, Long Fei's card, Claw of the Milk Dragon. Ah! Oh! At the same time he grabbed it, two screams rang out. This was not a comfortable moan, but a painful scream. Because at the same time he made his move, Ba Wang Hua was quick to react, and his two fingers suddenly pinched each other, pressing onto Long Fei's arms. That feeling of pain. It was heart-wrenching. It was simply impossible to describe. Anyone who had tried would know that a woman's technique was invincible. Hiss, 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 hiss. Long Fei screamed in pain, and had to praise himself, saying, "You reacted quickly, not bad." Again. Long Fei spoke again as he quickly analyzed the situation in his heart. He thought to himself, seems like her chest is her absolute forbidden zone, and she has an absolute reaction speed towards that area. Let's move to another area and try it out. He would never stop until he achieved his goal. Long Fei was just like that. Immediately, Long Fei charged again, saying, "Look at my position." Ba Wang Hua seriously looked at the bottom of Long Fei's feet once again. Although he did not have any skills, Long Fei's movements was very coquettish, with every step making it difficult for people to fathom him, causing them to be even more attracted to him. She was still lost in her own position. Long Fei instantly appeared behind Ba Wang Hua and hugged him fiercely. Delighted, he said in his heart, still not succeeding this time. However. Long Fei jumped up at the same place. It was so painful that it felt like his 7 orifices were about to burst out. This feeling. The pain was excruciating. Very good, very good. Your reaction is fast. Not bad, you have improved. Long Fei praised her with tears in his heart. Ba Wang Hua thought, continue pretending, let's see how long you can continue pretending, you pervert. Chapter 1779 Let Your Chrysanthemum Wash. Chapter 1779 Let Your Chrysanthemum Wash. He looked serious. He was seen through in all seriousness. Next. From time to time, screams could be heard coming from the outer sect of God Rare sect. The screams were extremely sharp, as if they were unparalleled. The screams did not stop until the afternoon. Long Fei sat on a rock and looked into the distance. His eyes were filled with frustration, as if he no longer had any hope in life. Despair. He had never experienced such a failure. During the entire day, he did not even touch the corner of the Ba Wang Hua's clothes, but he himself. His body was covered with wounds, and there was not a single piece of good meat on his body. Green and purple, it was as if he had been brutally treated, even worse than slaves. How miserable was this? On the other side, the Ba Wang Hua was smiling like a flower. Seeing Long Fei's expression, she smiled beautifully, pretended to be flirtatious, and said, "Junior brother, teach me again, I really want to teach me something. Just teach me again." Long Fei wanted to cry, and said, "This will do for today, go back and properly comprehend it. Next time." "Oh. I won't be free next time. There won't be a next time. Never again." Long Fei was about to have a trauma over his big chest. Ba Wang Hua walked over and sat beside Long Fei while holding back his laughter, and asked, "Junior brother, are you really not going to teach me anymore? You've already graduated, there's no need to teach." Long Fei said. He had to say it. Ba Wang Hua's learning speed was very fast, and she was also in a flirtatious position. In martial arts arena, she could not hit Long Fei, but now, it was almost impossible to dodge. He didn't know if it was due to the anti-wolves effect. The Ba Wang Hua himself could feel this point. Even though he had seen through Long Fei's thoughts, he did not dare to thank Long Fei in his heart. Moreover, she had been laughing the whole day while training with Long Fei. In a comfortable mood, people learn much faster. Ba Wang Hua suddenly quieted down, turning her face to look at Long Fei's face. The blade was ordinary. A bit handsome. Under the afterglow of the setting sun, it gave people a feeling of haziness. All of a sudden, she said in a strange tone, "If you want to touch my chest, then chase after me. After saying that, her face turned red. His heart trembled, and he thought to himself, Bawang Hua, oh Bawang Hua, how can you say such words? Are you in heat or lust? Are you crazy? He couldn't help it. She was completely unable to control herself as she was attracted by the unique aura on Long Fei's body. Looking at Long Fei's shoulder, she especially wanted to lean on it to have a good rest. Long Fei's shoulder seemed to be filled with temptation. This was a feeling that she couldn't even put her finger on. Long Fei raised his eyes and was shocked. He turned around and looked at Bawang Hua and asked, "Is that okay?" But right at this moment, Bawang Hua had already run far away. He nodded and said 2 words, "All right." Then it disappeared. Long Fei laughed. "You've gotten lucky again." He had to say it. Long Fei's body had an aura that could captivate women. This aura was innate, and would cause one to be unable to extricate themselves, causing women to be subconsciously attracted to him. This aura was passed down to his mother. The unique charm of the Holy Maiden was inherited. Thus, any woman who fell in love with him would be unable to bear falling into it. Long Fei looked in the direction that the Bawang Hua had disappeared in and smiled slightly. Crap. Thinking about what Li Yuanqing had said in the morning, he had to rush back to the gathering to report before 6 p.m. Long Fei immediately rushed over to the miscellaneous department. As a nominal disciple, you have to understand the identity of the nominal disciple. Then, you should understand what you are trying to do. If any one of you are going against me, I will make it difficult for you. Li Yuanqing said fiercely. The matter of Long Fei in the martial arts arena today had caused him to be insulted and scolded by the elders of the room of martial arts training S. He was in a very bad mood. At this moment, Long Fei ran in and said, "Sir Manager, my apologies, I practiced with senior sister too late, and I came back late." Li Yuanqing glared and shouted, "I was talking about you just now. You made such a big deal out of me on the first day. Long Fei, I'm warning you, if you make it difficult for me, I'll make you get the hell out of here, understand?" Long Fei smiled apologetically. I understand. Towards this kind of man who didn't have a duck's voice, Long Fei didn't need to bother. Li Yuanqing coldly snorted and said, "That's more like it." Long Fei casually asked and said, "Master Supervisor, my contribution points today." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish, Li Yuanqing asked coldly, "Contribution points? You still want contribution points? Are you dreaming? Because you came back late, so your contribution points were deducted." Contribution points were very useful in God Rare sect. It was equivalent to a type of currency, which was even more useful than divine spirit pills. A nominal disciple could also earn contribution points, accumulating enough contribution points to be able to exchange for a quota of official disciples. 5 contribution points were not a lot, but it was a number that many nominal disciples could only earn in a month. Was directly swallowed by Li Yuanqing. Long Fei was indeed a little unhappy in his heart. Many of the surrounding disciples were gloating while secretly laughing. A rookie from the first day still wants contribution points. In your dreams? Why don't you take a look at yourself? If you don't have the mission given to you by the General Director, do you think you can still earn contribution points? Long Fei clenched his fists tightly and relaxed them slightly, then said, "Master Manager, we're out of contribution points, so we should at least eat, right? It's been a day since I ate." He was really hungry. He was locked up for a day without eating. After training for the entire day, he was exhausted and had not eaten yet. Hungry. Li Yuanqing sneered and said, "You want to eat something? Look for yourself, I'm not your father." Giggle. Long Fei clenched his fist again, and an explosive sound was heard. Li Yuanqing didn't mind at all. He waved his hand and said, "Disband today, we'll continue tomorrow." And then, Li Yuanqing left. Long Fei pulled a senior disciple and asked, "Senior brother, where does Master Manager live?" As he spoke, he took out a divine spirit pill. The senior brother said, "You want to bribe the head supervisor? It seems like you're quite sensible, kid. There's a separate courtyard on the east side, and beyond that is the forest." "Thank you, senior brother." Long Fei smiled slightly, and thought to himself, swallowing my contribution points, why aren't you giving me food, telling me to not touch you, but can't I do it in secret? Long Fei was extremely vengeful. If it was possible, it was a hatred that did not exist overnight. In the dead of night, it was completely silent. Long Fei came to Li Yuanqing's courtyard with his face covered. He could only hear the miserable cries of a few men coming from the courtyard. It couldn't be called a scream, but it could also be called a comfortable moan. Holy *T. Old pervert. Long Fei took out another pitch-black pellet from his bosom. Have your chrysanthemum take a bath tonight. Chapter 1780 Endless Scholar. Chapter 1780 Endless Scholar. If I can't touch you in the open, then I'll hide in the dark. If I can't come in the dark, then I'll hide in the dark. I refuse to believe that I can't deal with you. This was Long Fei. Hearing Li Yuanqing's room, a wave-like noise sounded, and it was even accompanied by the sound of whips slapping. It was truly coquettish. Long Fei entered the house silently. Looking at the steaming dishes on the table and the bottle of wine soaked in some kind of animal whip, Long Fei revealed an evil smile, deducting my contribution points. Why aren't you eating? Then I'll let you have a taste of Father's power. He placed a medicinal pill into the wine. After that, Long Fei quietly withdrew himself. Just you wait. As long as you drink, your chrysanthemum will go berserk. Returning to his residence. In the weed hut, Long Fei's stomach was pounding in hunger, just as he was worrying. The sound of light footsteps could be heard. Long Fei tensed up. Who? Desperate man walked out from the weeds. 2 wild rabbits who were killed by the sword Qi appeared in his hands. He threw them at Long Fei's feet and said, "Eat this, you have to release more chili." Long Fei looked at Desperate Man and said, "You're hungry too, right?" The Desperate Man did not deny it and said, "A little. Then I'll roast the hare today." Long Fei began to peel off its skin and clean up its internal organs. At this time, the Desperate Man had once again quietly disappeared, giving off a mysterious feeling. Not long later, on the fire rack, the wild hare meat was emitting a burnt fragrance. The fat on the hare was pulsing like dancing fairies. Adding some seasonings to the meat and the fragrance was even more indescribable. Long Fei picked up a roasted rabbit and said, "There shouldn't be anyone around, you should come out to eat as well." The figure of the Desperate Man appeared out of thin air. Long Fei was slightly shocked. He did not even know how the Desperate Man appeared. Had he always been invisible, or was his speed so fast that he was unable to see it clearly? Desperate Man took the rabbit meat and tore off a piece of meat. It was very hot, but he didn't seem to feel anything. Long Fei said, "Slow down, no one is fighting with you." Desperate Man didn't say anything and just continued to eat. He wanted to finish eating quickly so that he could conceal himself. Because only by hiding in the darkness could he protect Long Fei from all angles. In these few days, as long as Long Fei received danger, the consciousness in his mind would control him. This consciousness controlled him, as if Long Fei was the young master. He would absolutely not let anything happen to the young master. Moreover, he had tried before, but this consciousness was unable to expel or defeat him. It was as though a law was imprisoning itself in his mind. How powerful was a person who could unleash such power? Impossibly strong. Long Fei continued to roast the other rabbit, looked at the cold Desperate Man, and could not help but ask, last time at the martial arts training grounds, sect leader Zhong Sanqian said that the 9 days and 10 places killing space could only be cultivated by specific people in the God Rare sect. How did you know that? And he's even stronger than the Grand Master? Long Fei really wanted to know the answer to this question. Even the sect master was only slightly in the second stage of cultivation, but the fact that the Desperate Man was able to release the full meaning of the second stage meant that in terms of cultivation method, he was even more powerful than Zhong Sanqian. Desperate Man paused for a moment, then said, "I don't know." Long Fei asked with some curiosity, "You don't even know what cultivation technique you have cultivated?" The Desperate Man said, "If you wanted me to use the 9 days and 10 places killing space now, I simply could not release it. After you felt the pain within the killing interspace, The subconscious in my mind immediately released a strong killing intent that was stronger than Fang Tianhan, and directly crushed him, allowing him to have a taste of how the killing interspace would be crushed. When Zhong Sanqian wanted to stop me, my subconscious suddenly raised the killing interspace to an even stronger realm, and when everything ended, the cultivation technique also disappeared, as if it did not belong to me. His eyes told Long Fei that he wanted to know the answer even more than Long Fei. What exactly was hidden? Long Fei listened attentively, as he started to analyze in his heart, whoever gives me pain will have to endure pain worse than me. Whoever is stronger will be the stronger one, whoever is stronger will be the stronger. Seems like. Long Fei watched as desperate man gnawed on the rabbit's meat. Mother. I really want to meet you. Did you send him to protect me? Long Fei looked up at the stars in the sky, his heart yearning to see his mother. At the same time, in his heart, he was also thinking about his father in the infernal realm, as well as the 8 King Kong, and also about Jojo and the others who had their souls shackled by the destiny god. But right now, he didn't even know where the ancient holy battlefield was. Don't even talk about changing the pattern. Even the place he was at was filled with danger. If he was not careful he would lose his life, and the most important thing was that he did not know how to leave Devil Island. Suddenly, a cool breeze blew past. Long Fei was startled. He turned to look and realized that the desperate man had disappeared. Half a minute later, a girl walked into the courtyard with light steps and looked around in shock. You live in this kind of place? There are a lot of houses in God Rare sect. Why would you live in this kind of place? The one who came was no one else but the Bawang Hua. She had some food in her hand. She returned to her residence, and for some reason, she kept thinking about Long Fei, wanting to see him again. When she found out that Long Fei had not eaten for an entire day, she was conflicted. Do you want it? In the end, it still came. Bawang Hua's appearance caused Long Fei to be slightly taken aback, and he asked, Senior sister, why have you come? Bawang Hua looked at the rabbit meat on the fire rack and said, I was afraid that you would starve to death. I never thought that you would eat better than me. It seems that I was overeating. Enough. As long as you don't starve to death, I'll go back. As he spoke, he turned around to leave. Long Fei said, Senior sister, since you have come, why don't you sit for a while? Didn't you tell me to chase you? Such beautiful scenery is the perfect time to deepen our relationship, don't you think? Hee hee. Bawang Hua immediately turned and stared at Long Fei, his eyes staring slightly. He asked, Your arm is itchy again? Long Fei's body immediately shrank as he said, What I mean is, do you want to taste the wild hare I'm roasting? He already had a shadow in his heart about Bawang Hua's technique. Bawang Hua smiled and said, That's more like it. Bawang Hua did not want to leave from the start. Long Fei thought in his heart. Long and long, with no intention to sleep, if I could do something I love to do. Chapter 1781, Drilling the Grove Again. Chapter 1781, Drilling the Grove Again. Nothing happened that night. Long Fei really wanted something to happen, but nothing could happen. Moreover, the Bawang Hua was invincible in close combat. If Long Fei did not use the blasting fist, he would not be a match for the Bawang Hua at all. The next morning. The General Affairs Department. It's already 9 o'clock, and the head supervisor isn't here yet. What's going on? Exactly. I've never seen one before. It can't be that she's sick, right? Sick? How could he possibly be sick if he was able to solve the problem with just a pill? It should be something else. Li Yuanqing did not appear. Long Fei secretly rejoiced in his heart. Damn it, you tricked Lousy, now isn't it so great? How is your daddy's 1000 Li desolation pill? Isn't that great enough? Ha ha ha. The pellet he had placed in Li Yuanqing's wine was of a very strong attribute. Normally, people would spend 7 days and 7 nights on it, and those with poor stamina would directly die from exhaustion. Even if it was the Powerhouse S, it would still take 3 days and 3 nights. This taste. It felt great. In another place. Pardier, pa. Li Yuanqing had been squatting in the toilet since the night before and had never left since. Who is it? Who is it? Don't let me find out, or I'll kill him." Li Yuanqing roared. When he was dressed and prepared to leave, his stomach let out a series of growls like lightning. Li Yuanqing's eyes opened wide and immediately squatted down again, because he did not take off his pants in time, causing his pants to shit out. He was so angry that his entire body shivered. Big whip whine. "Wait. You make me feel bad, I will make you." Crack. Another series of popping sounds. Outside the toilet. "Master, what should we do about today's miscellaneous arrangements?" "You!" Li Yuanqing shouted in anger. "Can't you see that I can't leave? Pass my order down, and everything will remain the same." "Yes, sir." Li Yuanqing seemed to have thought of something, and immediately said, "Oh right, let's have that brat Long Fei go to room of martial arts training to accompany him. He promised Guoling yesterday." "Yes, sir." In another place. Disciples' dorm of the martial arts training. When he woke up from his coma, Guoling's body was covered in feces. Since Guoling was young, he had never suffered such a loss. "No, no, no. Me." Guoling stepped out of the toilet, then turned around and stepped back. His face was extremely pale, he had no time to take off his pants, and then a few popping sounds rang out. "Bullshit. It's no use. It's completely useless. Go and get me the best anti-diarrhea pill. Hurry up." Guoling roared. He couldn't leave the toilet at all. Who knows how many times he had covered his pants with *T. It had been several days since he had last washed his body clean, and he could no longer smell the feces on his body. "You dog. Don't let me find out who sneaked an attack on me. Otherwise, I will make you regret coming to this world." Ayo. Crack. Another series of explosions sounded. He exchanged for several anti-diarrhea pills, but they were completely useless. Long Fei's 1000 Li pellet, just like its name, 1000 Li 1 and 1000 Li 1, did it want to stop the diarrhea? It was impossible, and what alchemist in this world would place their experience on a pill like the healing pill? Ah! Guoling screamed miserably, but it was pulled on his pants again. Everything was as usual. Long Fei arrived at the room of martial arts training. At this moment, as the all-knowing scholar of the God Rare sect, LV Shuangquan was surrounded by people, you all don't know, but at that time, it was so fast that a burst of power from the lightning directly blew senior brother away. At this moment, that powerhouse directly carried senior sister, and with one step, he soared into the sky. That scene is beyond your imagination. It's too cool. He's so handsome that he's practically a scum. What do you mean by a hero saves a beauty? That's what a hero saves a beauty would be. The cannon shot continuously rang out. LV Shuangquan's mouth was like a machine gun. "LV Shuangquan, how did you know?" a disciple asked. LV Shuangquan said, "There is nothing that can be hidden from me, what's more, I was there. I saw it with my own eyes." When he heard this, Long Fei's heart trembled slightly. LV Shuangquan had a complacent look, and said, "If you don't believe me, you can ask senior sister, and see if I'm wrong." Many disciples of room of martial arts training saw Long Fei walking over. One of the disciples immediately laughed. This nominal disciple left with senior sister, the one who saved the beauty couldn't have been him, right? Him. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The crowd immediately burst into laughter. Their faces were all filled with disdain. Him. A nominal disciple whose talent has been crippled, would have died a long time ago if it wasn't for senior sister who helped him block the palm strike from Guoling. Wouldn't I be a super great god if he was the hero saving the beauty? Exactly. I'm still the savior. LV Shuangquan did not speak, but looked at Long Fei. Long Fei also looked at him. At this time, an elder shouted, "You don't even need to cultivate. Ah! The rookie selection is in less than 3 months, and you still have time to chat here." Everyone immediately dispersed. The elder glanced at Long Fei, and said, "That person is a nominal disciple." Long Fei looked at him. That elder immediately said, "Yes, that's you." Long Fei walked forward and said, "Elder, my name is Long Fei. I don't care what you fly. Guoling can't come today, but you, the punching bag, can't stay idle. I think that's it." The elder was filled with disdain. Long Fei clearly knew that he couldn't come. Within 3 days and 3 nights, he couldn't leave the toilet. But be a punching bag. The elder looked at Long Fei and said angrily, "What kind of expression do you have? You don't want to?" At this moment, Ba Wang Hua walked over and said, "Elder Wu, what have I comprehended from yesterday's dragon's roar subduing tiger fist? I want him to practice with me for another day." When the elder saw that it was Ba Wang Hua, he immediately smiled and said, "It's Ba Wang Hua, then go train with it." Ba Wang Hua was a seeded participant. Ordinary elders didn't dare to rashly offend him. Ba Wang Hua looked at Long Fei and said, "I don't want to practice in such a noisy place. Follow me." After which, he walked out. This time it was the more remote woods. LV Shuangchuan slightly smiled, and thought in his heart, "I didn't see it clearly yesterday, is it you?" However, to be able to make Ba Wang Hua fall in love, this is great news. As he spoke, he secretly followed. It was also at this time. A few disciples once again silently followed him. They lost him yesterday, he definitely wouldn't do that today. Chapter 1782 She Kissed Me. Chapter 1782 She kissed me in the small forest. Sunlight shone through the gaps between the leaves. A cool breeze blew past, rustling the leaves. Ba Wang Hua practiced the dragon's raw tiger subduing fist for a bit before he leaned against the tree and stopped. He frowned slightly with a worried look on his face and muttered, "There's still 3 months' time, but I can't change it. Is a year's hard work going to be wasted?" Long Fei had truly not completely mastered the method of thundershock even though he had not mastered it yet. There was electricity in the middle of the shockwaves and the fruit of the shockwaves, and there was also shock in the middle of the shockwaves. Only by combining the strongest lightning bolts with the strongest earthquake would the power of the lightning be strong enough. Seeing that the Ba Wang Hua had stopped and seeing her worried expression, he smiled slightly and said, "Don't worry, I will think of a way to help you." Ba Wang Hua looked at Long Fei and laughed. She didn't take it seriously. Long Fei was indeed very strong. In her heart, Long Fei was very mysterious and powerful, but she was very clear on her weakness. Once she encountered an opponent who was faster than her, she would have no chance. Furthermore, if she didn't have an opponent that could close in on her, she wouldn't be able to do anything. This was her fatal weakness. If even the disciples of the God Rare sect could see that, in the 10 sects exchange, how could he be a match for those super geniuses? Huff. 10 sects exchange. Ba Wang Hua clenched his teeth, his fists shook, and he threw out a punch. Boom. Hoo. A dragon was roaring and a tiger was roaring. The fallen leaves beside her were also blown away by the strong wind. Ba Wang Hua was a little like Yuan Ba. She focused on training her strength. Faith was pure strength, and her physical body was the source of strength. She had trained her physical body and strength since she was young. He didn't train in divine power. A pure warrior. Long Fei had played countless of online games, and had a unique insight into how warrior and mage PvP. Right now, he was thinking about how to use this insight to display it. While Long Fei cultivated the Thunder Pulse art, he also thought about how to help the Ba Wang Hua solve the problem. Continue as usual today. We'll continue today. 3 days of practice. Long Fei was accompanying the Ba Wang Hua in the small forest. His Thunder Pulse skill had reached 300 points from the proficiency, and his understanding of the Thunder Pulse skill could be considered to have gained a basic understanding. In these 3 days, LV Shuangchuan had been monitoring them the entire time. He thought he could dig up some explosive news, but there was nothing. It was just 2 people cultivating. The only difference was that they each practiced their own techniques. And then again, he continuously lost the 3 gods' General S small tails. Dragon roar, shock. Tiger subduing roar, boom, boom. When the 2 fists were released, a series of explosions sounded out in the air. Ba Wang Hua was drenched in sweat as he slightly retracted his fists and lightly gasped for breath. At this moment, Long Fei walked over and said, "Flower, I've thought of a way to help you solve this problem." Ba Wang Hua's face reddened. In these 3 days of contact, every time Long Fei called her Flower Blossom, she couldn't help but blush. She didn't dare to call out at the beginning, but she was simply unable to stop him. Ba Hua asked, "What method?" Long Fei said, "You have always been focused on training your strength and body. Your cultivation technique is also a hard martial art, pure power. As for someone who's fast in movement and can't let you near them, you have no way to do anything. As for this situation, I have a temporary solution that can only be found temporarily. I will think of a better solution." Long Fei said. Ba Hua said, "Go ahead." Although she trusted Long Fei, he was still a martial artist who didn't even have a cultivation at the Yellow Star realm. This wasn't because she looked down on Long Fei. How could the gods in this world solve the problem of the Green Star realm? Unless Long Fei was a legendary martial arts master. Long Fei said, "Charge." Huh. Ba Hua was startled, and said, "Sudden advance." "What do you mean?" Long Fei said, "To let you instantly increase your speed, and also rush to the front of your opponent in an instant, and combine it with your strongest technique, and kill you in one move." Ba Hua was stunned. Long Fei gave a simple description, and it was as if a window was opened in her mind, allowing her to instantly feel an even wider world. Following that, words kept on popping up in Ba Hua's mind. Long Fei continued, "This is only an ultimate attack. Under the situation where the opponent is relaxed, suddenly striking out will result in an unexpected effect. However, after failing in one move, the second time would be difficult. This is also a disadvantage. I will come up with a better solution before your selection." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish, Ba Hua suddenly came to his senses, as if he had just gained some sort of enlightenment. I understand. Thank you. Thank you." Suddenly, Ba Hua took Long Fei in his arms. Before Long Fei could react, he was already in his embrace. Suddenly, like lightning, everything happened too fast. He felt surprisingly good. Moreover, Ba Hua even gave Long Fei a peck on his cheek before instantly jumping away. "Junior brother, thank you." He. Long Fei was stunned in place. "She kissed me. Happiness comes so suddenly." Long Fei looked at the Ba Hua who was jumping far away and smiled faintly. With that sudden insight, Ba Hua became as happy as a child. Long Fei did not know what this meant to her. It was a problem that had troubled her for many years. It was also at this time. In the darkness far away, LV Shuangchuan was dumbstruck, and his heart started to boil. I knew it, and just as I expected, senior sister was taken down by him. My God. This is heavyweight news. I'll go back immediately. I'm going to print this news into a book. I'm rich, ha ha ha. LV Shuangchuan quickly left. After he left, the desperate man appeared and reported to Long Fei. Long Fei laughed. I never thought that there would be puppies in this different world too. Desperate man said, "Do you want me to?" Long Fei said, "Let him be." Who? I want to train in Thunder Pulse too. I want to see what I have comprehended recently. How is it? In a situation where he was unable to level up, Long Fei could only cultivate in order to become stronger. Long Fei asked, "Is there anyone around?" Desperate man said, "There is no one within 1,000 meters radius." All right. Long Fei clenched his fists. Crack, crack. Streaks of cracks appeared around his fist. These cracks were not ordinary cracks, but rather, cracks that brought along lightning. With a fierce charge, the electric light became blinding. The power of the earthquake rushed out from the void and collided with the barrier. Rumble. An incomparably powerful force exploded forth. How preposterous! How preposterous! Long Fei, I will let you die in martial arts arena tomorrow. Guo Ling took out the publication that LV Shuangchuan had printed and became extremely angry. 3 days. He was finally finished. His body was weak. However, his anger was even greater. He had chased after a woman for 2 years and kissed someone else, yet he was still just a lowly, nominal disciple. Long Fei, tomorrow, I will definitely trample you to death in front of the Ba Hua. Just you wait. Chapter 1783 Love, Death. Chapter 1783 Love, Love, Death. In the morning, Long Fei came to the General Affairs Department early to report. Li Yuanqing still had half a life left, and was half dead lying in the latrine. He hadn't left the latrine even half a step in the past few days, and it could be said that he had pulled out all the Sh*T from his life. Now it wasn't Sh*T, but blood. As Long Fei walked into the courtyard, he realized that everyone was looking at him differently. It's here, it's here. That kid is here. I wonder what kind of dog's hit luck this kid has, to actually be able to obtain the favor of the world. Who knows, maybe he used some despicable, insidious, and despicable method. Definitely. Everyone whispered to each other. Bawanghua was a goddess in many male disciples' hearts, but now that they had taken the initiative to kiss Long Fei, it was hard for many to accept. Long Fei looked at the surrounding disciples in name. He was a little confused. At this moment, a disciple walked up and shouted rudely, "Brat, Bawanghua kissed you? What trashy method did you use?" Huh! Long Fei was first shocked as he thought to himself, it spread so fast. Half of the outer court knew in one night. Long Fei had also instantly rushed onto the God Rare sect's wind cloud list, instantly becoming famous. And then, Long Fei smirked and laughed. What kind of despicable method do you think I should use? What control do you have? Humph. Kid, don't be too arrogant. The disciple shouted. At this time, a few registered disciples walked up to him. It was obvious that they were on good terms with each other. Long Fei was not afraid in the slightest, and said, "I am arrogant, what can you do? Unconvinced? Come up and bite me. Arrogant. Arrogant. You're courting death." Suddenly, the disciple suddenly took action, his fist fiercely smashing towards Long Fei's face. His legs moved like the wind, quickly rushing over. Long Fei did not retreat, nor did he dodge. Punch against punch. Many of the surrounding disciples mocked, "Is he crazy? Senior brother Liu is at the Yellow Star Realm, and he, a 9-star realm cultivator, wants to compete with senior brother Liu? You want to die?" Exactly. Senior brother Liu is the strongest here. Let's just wait and see. That kid's talent has been crippled, yet he dares to be so arrogant. Let's see how he will die today. With his inherent skill crippled, his power, cultivation would slowly decline, and he would not be able to cultivate it back, so after a few days, Long Fei's cultivation should be at the bottom. In other words, he was already a piece of trash now. To deal with a trash, a Yellow Star Realm martial artist could easily crush him. However, the moment their fists collided, Long Fei remained still. A series of bone-cracking sounds resounded in the air. Crack, crack. At the same time, miserable shrieks rang out. Liu Diechong was blown away. His face was pale. One of his hands fell down powerlessly. He could not muster up any strength. He was in a very sorry state. Senior brother, senior brother. A few disciples surrounded him. Liu Diechong stared at Long Fei and said, "Go up together, kill him, whoosh whoosh, whoosh whoosh." Liu Diechong held back the pain and stood up. With fire in his eyes, he said, "Brat, I will kill you today." Long Fei looked at the disciples who were walking towards him, and smiled, "I'll give you guys one last chance. In the end, go far away from here. All of you will lie down here." Humph. How arrogant. You alone. The 4 of us won't be able to beat you. Attack. As soon as his voice faded, the 4 of them rushed forward at the same time. Long Fei's eyes slightly narrowed as he clenched his fists. Thin streaks of lightning flashed between his fists, and the surrounding space made sounds like that of glass shattering. Without waiting for them to rush up, Long Fei shouted, "Shock! Crack! Rumble!" Explosions rang out in the air, the powerful tremors directly assaulting their minds. They could not stand steadily and instantly fell to the ground. Long Fei stepped forward and kicked them one by one, landing a kick on their lower jaws. "Don't be so King shameless, if this were outside, you would have already died." Finally, he walked up to Liu Diechong and stared at him like a death god. He said coldly, "Understood." Liu Diechong was scared to the point of peeing. He nodded repeatedly and said, I understand, I understand." They were afraid that Long Fei would give him another kick. Long Fei retracted his gaze and returned to a state of tranquility. If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. Someone wants to offend me? This father will F***ku to death. At this moment, a gay disciple walked up to them and said, "Today, the head supervisor has not recovered from his illness. He should continue as usual and remind everyone not to cause any trouble, otherwise, it will be a severe punishment." After which, she flicked her finger and left with big strides. Room of martial arts training. Let's go see my flowers and see how her training progress during the night is. Long Fei couldn't help but smile as he thought about Ba Wanghua's happy expression yesterday. Room of martial arts training, martial arts practice field. When Ba Wanghua arrived at the training grounds, she couldn't help but point and discuss about it. She didn't know what had happened. When she saw the booklet that LV Shuangchuan had printed, her face was filled with anger. She really wanted to get even with LV Shuangchuan, but now that he thought about it, this was not something shameful. Moreover, so what if she kissed the person she liked? So what if everyone knew? Thinking of this, Ba Wanghua revealed a smile like a flower, and she became even more beautiful. A woman in love. This made many disciples of Room of Martial Arts Training want to die. God damn, don't let me meet that brat. I will definitely beat him up and make him crawl all over the ground. Damn it, a mere nominal disciple actually managed to get our goddess. This. I'm so angry that I'm about to vomit blood. It seems to be true. What method did that boy use? So infuriating, so infuriating. Suddenly, that kid is here. Many people immediately turned to look at Long Fei, staring at him as if they were trying to devour him. Waves of killing intent attacked him. In one night's time, Long Fei became the public enemy of the outer sect. Long Fei did not mind at all, and muttered, "Damn, why do I feel like I can't wait to kill me?" Ba Wanghua also walked over and directly held Long Fei's hand in front of everyone. This action of his. Everyone present was dumbfounded. Long Fei was also surprised as he looked at Ba Wanghua. Ba Wanghua pouted her small mouth and said, "What are you looking at? Since it's already exposed, I will boldly admit it. You won't reject me, right? If you dare to not accept me, I will break your lower part." Long Fei pinched both his legs together, and immediately said, "I don't dare." However, Long Fei said, "In my hometown, there is a saying, love, die quickly." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, a furious roar came from the crowd. "Long Fei, I will definitely kill you today. Guoling." "You're my man, I have to protect you. You're my man, I have to protect you." The crowd quickly dispersed. Guoling walked out. His eyes were filled with killing intent, but his face was haggard and pale. He looked much thinner than he had 3 days ago. Long Fei was slightly taken aback, but he thought to himself, seems like the measurement for each pellet is still not enough. The next time I use it, I need to increase it, and I'll need to keep it for at least 7 days and 7 nights. When Ba Wanghua saw Guoling block Long Fei's path in an instant, he asked, "Senior brother Guoling, what are you trying to do?" Guoling looked at Ba Wanghua, gritting his teeth until they creaked. He clenched his fists and shouted, "Bitch!" as soon as he finished. Martial arts arena was stunned. Long Fei squinted, walked up, and coldly said, "Say that again." Guoling disdainfully sneered, "Yo, you still know how to protect your own woman? Isn't it just a useless thing like you who only knows how to hide behind a woman? If you have the guts, then fight me like a man today." Right now, Guoling really wanted to knock Long Fei down to the ground and roll around, begging for mercy. Only then would he be relieved of his anger. The entire outer sect knew that he was chasing after the Ba Wanghua. But now, the entire outer sect was laughing at him for having his woman stolen by a nominal disciple. He couldn't take this lying down. Long Fei said, "If you want to fight, then go ahead. Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Ba Wanghua immediately stopped Long Fei and said, "I'll fight you." The last time Lin Long had flown under the small tree was due to a sneak attack, and Guoling had not been prepared for it at that time. In this face-to-face battle, Long Fei was definitely not a match. His cultivation was simply too low. Furthermore, with his crippled inherent skill, his cultivation would gradually decline, making him even more unfit to be his opponent. In a battle with Guoling, Long Fei was bound to lose. It did not matter if she lost, the Bawang Hua did not care. The more Bawang Hua was like this, the angrier Guoling became. Guoling coldly laughed at him. "Look, trash like you only knows how to hide behind women. Are you even a man?" And then, Guoling stared at Bawang Hua and said, "Junior sister, I really don't understand. How could you take a fancy to such a man? Is he still a man? What was the use of this sort of embroidered pillow? This world is the powerhouse's world. If his talent is crippled, he will forever be a trash, forever unable to climb up from the bottom. Have you thought about this? Junior sister, I am the best person to belong to. Come back to my side, I can forgive you everything you do." As soon as his voice faded, the surroundings went into an uproar. "Wow, senior brother Guoling is so handsome. He's too handsome. If I were Bawang Hua, I would definitely return to his side. I'm so drunk." Guoling's words were indeed beautiful. However, the Bawang Hua did not hesitate at all, and said straightforwardly, "I like it, I am willing, but what can you do about it? And why should I ask you to forgive me? Who are you? Do I know you well?" Poochie. Guoling's body trembled slightly. Super critical hit, instant kill, all that he said, the Bawang Hua ignored him. Guoling was immediately injured internally. The crowd went into an uproar. Senior sister is too heartless. Just what kind of bewitching soup did that brat pour for the world to make her lose her rationality so much? What happened to him? Kid, if you have the guts, then come forward. Many people roared in anger. They were all extremely dissatisfied with Long Fei. At this time, Bawang Hua took Long Fei's arm, and with a gentle and blissful expression, he muttered, "I'll be by your side forever. I only like you, unless you don't want me." Poochie. Poochie. One heart after another shattered. Again and again. Many people felt as if their hearts had died. They had never seen a violent Bawang Hua be so gentle. This. Can't we even compare to a piece of trash? Senior sister, wake up, there is no future following him. He is just a trash whose talent has been crippled. Why are you doing this? Oh God, open your eyes and take a look. I don't believe in love anymore either. Quite a few people directly laid down on the ground and shouted out. Bawang Hua's actions really blinded them. No matter how they thought about it, they could not understand why Bawang Hua chose Long Fei. Even idiots would not choose to do so. Actually, the Bawang Hua herself wasn't too clear about it, but she liked it. To love a person, there was no need for a reason, much less any reason. From the moment she held Long Fei's hand, she had already made all kinds of plans. Even if Long Fei couldn't cultivate, even if Long Fei became trash, even if he couldn't even be compared to a normal person, she was willing to follow him because she loved Long Fei. It was just that silly. Long Fei looked at Bawang Hua and muttered, Hua, you're so silly. I'm willing to be stupid to you for the rest of my life." Bawang Hua giggled, her cheeks flushed red, like a little girl who had just spoken out of love for the first time. At this time, Guoling's entire body trembled, anger burned his head, smoke rose from his head. He thought that he could save Bawang Hua, but he never thought that Bawang Hua would say something like that in front of so many people. It was equivalent to giving him a ruthless slap. This was truly humiliating. And all of this was because of Long Fei. Guoling said coldly, "Junior sister, he is a nominal disciple. He is just a live target, a punching bag. Today, he belongs to me and wants to practice fist arts with me. This is his responsibility. If he dares to escape, then he has violated the laws of the God Rare sect. You'd better think carefully about this outcome." Guoling's voice turned cold. Indeed, Long Fei was only a nominal disciple. His duty today was to practice fist arts with Guoling. If he tries to escape, he's breaking the law. Right now, many people were staring at him, wanting to kick him out of God Rare sect. If he was caught red-handed, he wouldn't be able to stay in God Rare sect. It had to be a battle. He couldn't not fight. This was precisely the point where Long Fei died. Guoling laughed coldly. Brat, I will definitely let you enjoy the taste of my fist. Long Fei didn't have a choice. However, at this moment, Ba Wang Hua made an extremely surprising move. Senior brother Guoling, I want to challenge you, Ba Wang Hua said seriously. Guoling's gaze tightened. Junior sister, wait until I cripple him, then I will accept your challenge. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Ba Wang Hua said once again, Senior brother, I want to challenge you right now. Let's meet on the life and death arena. If you don't come, then you won't stay at room of martial arts training. Ba Wang Hua was very determined. Long Fei looked at her, his heart moved, and said slightly, Hua, you don't need to do this, I can. He. You are my man, I have to protect you. Ba Wang Hua smiled slightly and walked towards the life and death arena in large stride. Chapter 1785, Like to fight? I'll fight you. Chapter 1785, Like to fight? I'll fight you. You are my man, my protection. One sentence. Countless young men's hearts were instantly destroyed. Long Fei was touched. Ba Wang Hua challenged Guoling to battle in order to protect him. Her cultivation was only at the 4-star level, while Guoling was at the 5-star level. His cultivation level was inferior. In terms of cultivation technique, Guoling was stronger. The most important thing was, Guoling was very clear about the death acupuncture point in the Ba Wang Hua. Going up the life and death arena made her speechless. She knew in her heart that she was courting death, but this was the only way she could think of to save Long Fei. Ba Wang Hua, so silly. All right, junior sister, since you want to challenge me, I'll accompany you. Guoling could not hold in his anger, and said, however, don't worry, I will not hurt you. At the same time, Guoling glanced at Long Fei, and said, Brat, you won't be able to escape today, after which, he strode towards the life and death arena. Many people surrounded him. At the same time, many people walked to Long Fei's side. Brat, if you accept senior brother Guoling's challenge and make him suffer, what kind of man are you? Kid, if senior sister is harmed in the slightest, I will be the first to not let you go. Kid, what qualifications do you have to receive the senior sister's love? Brat, why don't you go and die? Kid, your talent has been crippled, and a trash like you can never get up on your knees. Senior sister will follow you. Is there a future for you? You don't have to think about it for yourself, but you should think about it for the senior sister. One question after another. Long Fei couldn't answer him even once. However, he had never felt that he was unworthy of anyone, because he was Long Fei. He wanted to become the strongest man in the world. Moreover, he had to become one. Long Fei looked at Ba Wang Hua on the life and death arena. Ba Wang Hua also looked at him and smiled slightly. The two of you have made up your minds. Once you ascend to the life and death arena, it will be up to the heavens to decide your life and death. The two of you are both important disciples that the room of martial arts training is nurturing, so let's just forget about it, shall we? An old man said. Guoling looked at Ba Wang Hua and said, Junior sister, I think let it be. Ba Wang Hua said simply, Senior brother, make your move. Guoling's expression turned sinister as he thought to himself, Bitch, you gave me such a shameless thing and slapped my face in front of so many people. Do you think I would let you off so easily? Humph. On the life and death arena, I'll surely let you have a taste of my methods. With just you. Guoling feigned a pained look and said, All right, since you want to fight, then I will accompany you. Who asked you to be my most heartbroken junior sister? Guoling walked up the life and death arena. Boom. A gong sounded. The challenge began. The surrounding people all widened their eyes as they looked at the life and death arena. Long Fei also walked to the stage, and at the same time, he clenched his fists tightly. The blasting fist had already locked onto Guoling's body. How could his woman put her in danger? No matter the cost, he wouldn't do it. If he released the blasting fist, Guoling would definitely die, and he would definitely be kicked out of God Rare Sect, and even be chased down by the people from God Rare Sect. It doesn't matter. He couldn't let his woman get hurt. Boom. Boom. Ba Wang Hua was the first to make a move, controlling a certain speed. Although he wanted to get close to Guoling, he was cleverly avoiding it, and in that instant, the sword chi struck consecutively, causing Ba Wang Hua to be surrounded in danger. The sword chi was strong. But Guoling pretended to be a good person and said, "Junior sister, let's not fight anymore, right? I was afraid you'd get hurt." While they were talking, the sword in his hand transformed into a few sharp sword flowers, sealing Ba Wang Hua's entire body. "Junior sister, be careful." Ba Wang Hua didn't have anywhere to hide, but she was strong. Her physical body was just as strong. A surge of energy formed a thin shield and blocked the attack. Bang, bang, bang. The air shield was defeated and the Ba Wang Hua was knocked back consecutively. His blood was boiling under his chest and he felt a little uncomfortable. "Junior sister, does it hurt?" Guoling had a kind look on his face again. Under the stage, many of the female disciples were incomparably envious. "Senior brother is too good to you. Why do you want to fight? The senior brother loves you so much." "Senior sister, forget it. Senior brother doesn't dare to use his full strength." All of them were deceived by Guoling's acting skills. Guoling secretly rejoiced in his heart, and secretly said to himself, "This daddy will slowly play, and will not waste you today. This daddy will change his surname to yours, first it's you bitch, then it's that trash Long Fei." Ha ha ha. Guoling laughed out loud in his heart, and used a few more powerful sword techniques to attack. He was very clear about the Ba Wang Hua's cultivation and skills. To him, dealing with the Ba Wang Hua was too easy. As long as he did not let the Ba Wang Hua get too close to him, he was not afraid. Moreover, even if he allowed the Ba Wang Hua to get close, a cold smile appeared on the corner of Guoling's mouth. He kept on fighting. Ba Wang Hua could not get close to him and had been suppressed by Guoling the entire time. There were a few more wounds on his body and these wounds were all special places, and they were all buttons on his clothes. The clothes on Ba Wang Hua's body had already become a little loose. If her clothes were to be torn off, the clothes on her body would slide down. To warrior, being unable to get close was equivalent to being crippled. Even so, Ba Wang Hua did not give up. If she gave up on Guoling, she would still make a move on him. And she was waiting for the moment Guoling let down his guard. "Junior sister, you're injured. Stop hitting me." Guoling laughed evilly in his heart. "You made me lose face in room of martial arts training, and I made you lose even more face. Isn't your body the most precious?" Ha ha. At this moment, Ba Wang Hua's speed suddenly changed, his body knocking against the wall. Shua. Phantom images. Just like an extremely barbaric method of rushing in. In an instant, Guoling was caught off guard, his pupils suddenly shrank, his reaction was slower by half a beat, but he was not afraid. Dragon's roar, subdue tiger, boom. Like a flash of lightning, Ba Wang Hua's fists smashed down heavily. After 10 minutes of swimming, for the sake of this move, it was also his strongest move. However, she did not use all of her power in this move because she did not want to kill Guoling. If she used all of her power, Guoling's chest would have been shattered from the impact. She only wanted to throw Guoling off the stage. No one had seen it clearly. Both fists struck against Guoling's chest, causing Ba Wang Hua to be secretly happy. It's a success. This kind of sudden improvement is too effective. It's simply the moment of annihilation. It was just that. What Ba Wang Hua did not expect was that Guoling stood in place without moving, with a cold smile on his lips. He pretended to be in a difficult situation, and said, "Junior sister, you're too ruthless to actually hit with such a heavy blow." At this moment, the clothes on Guoling's chest were torn apart, revealing a purplish gold ray of light, the protective armor. Guoling smiled and said in a voice that only the Ba Wang Hua could hear, "You didn't think, did you? I was on guard against you, you slut." Ha ha ha. It was also at this moment. Guoling said softly, "You want to humiliate me? I will strip you of all your clothes, and let others see you naked, and make you lose even more face, ha ha ha." Yi Zichen moved his hands. At this moment, Long Fei ordered. A white shadow flashed, and Ba Wang Hua uncontrollably retreated back, falling right below the stage. Long Fei steadily caught him as he took off his clothes and wrapped himself around Ba Wanghua's body. His own body was covered with many hideous scars. There was even a dragon-shaped mark on his right arm. He himself had never seen this mark before. Long Fei still hadn't discovered it. And then, Long Fei looked at Guoling, who was on stage, his eyes emitting killing intent. He said, "I will fight with you." C1786. C1786 1 second, remember, pen, interesting pavilion www.bbeak.com, read for free. Chapter 1786 Explosion, Golden Dragon Violent Armor. If not for the fact that the scholar was quick to make a move, the clothes that Ba Wanghua was wearing would have. Others might not be able to tell, but who was Long Fei? How could he not see through Guoling's sinister and despicable methods? Like to fight? Then I'll fight with you. Ba Wanghua firmly grabbed onto the clothes on Long Fei's body. Her clothes could fall off at any time, and she anxiously said, "Don't fight with him, he has protective spiritual armor on him." She did not expect Guoling to have a protective spirit armor. If not, she would have definitely won. Long Fei smiled slightly, and said, "Idiot, how can I let you suffer grievances?" Furthermore, Long Fei pretended not to know anything on the outside, but he was very clear in his heart that Ba Wanghua was feeling wronged in his heart. He had almost stripped naked on the life and death arena. How wronged would it be for a girl to be stripped naked in public? If he did not report this, Long Fei would not be considered a man. Guoling laughed coldly. "You want to fight me? Do you even have the qualifications to fight me? You dog, you are just a nominal disciple, and you only have the qualification to be beaten by me, understand?" Long Fei's eyes slightly rose, and said, "You don't dare." "Humph. I don't dare. You piece of trash, I was afraid I would beat you to death." Although Long Fei was only a nominal disciple, killing him would at least bring about some small trouble. However, Guoling really wanted to stomp Long Fei under his feet and kill him in front of Ba Wanghua. Only then would he be able to compare to how much of a trash Long Fei was, as well as how poor Ba Wanghua's judgment was. This was the only way to emphasize his sense of superiority. Guoling rolled his eyes slightly, and said, "Unless you dare to sign the life and death agreement." Before he could finish his words, Long Fei walked to the side of the life and death arena and waved his brush twice. The word Long Fei was written in traditional Chinese with an extremely domineering aura, and it also carried a killing intent. "I've signed it." He signed it first. "The life and death contract. Is this kid crazy? What are you doing?" With the life and death contract signed, regardless of whether he lives or dies, has he gone mad? The moment Long Fei signed his name, the surroundings went into an uproar. In the life and death arena, if you didn't sign the life and death contract, then you would be restricted. After all, life and death wasn't child's play. Long Fei didn't even think about it. Ba Wanghua simply did not have time to stop it. Seeing Long Fei sign his name, her heart sank as she stood there in a daze. "Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." Guoling laughed loudly, and said, "Brat, you're going to die." Long Fei slightly said, "You sign your name too, otherwise, there will be unnecessary trouble later on." "Don't worry, I will definitely sign my name. Otherwise, there will really be trouble later on." Guoling walked forward, picked up the pen, and signed his name. He once again returned to the life and death arena. An elder looked at the life and death contract and said, "We have signed the life and death contract, and it shall not end until one side dies. Life and death shall be decided by the heavens. Let the battle begin." As soon as he finished, Guoling grinned sinisterly, and said, "You dog, this daddy has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Watch carefully, I will trample you under my feet in front of junior sister, and I will use my actions to prove how foolish her choice is." Long Fei picked his ears and asked, "Are you done talking?" "I'm done." "Then go to hell." In that instant, Long Fei's fists sunk, boom, boom, two loud bangs. The two powerful energies in Long Fei's arms shifted, just like how Lu Fei used 3 defenses in the one piece. His arms turned red, and the dragon-shaped mark on his arms turned ferocious. "Humph. Trash, You still dare to be cocky in front of me? What is the difference between me and you? Guo Ling roared out. The sword in his hand became illusory. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Dozens of sword techniques filled the sky, suppressing Long Fei with their might. Competing in strength. Long Fei was truly not as good as Guo Ling. However, he had a dummy. Without even waiting for Guo Ling to rush forward, Long Fei's fists moved, and instantly smashed outwards. He roared out loudly in his heart, "Hurricane burst boxing. Damn it, I won't kill you." Boom, boom. Two flowing lights flickered atop his fists. It directly hit Guo Ling's body from left and right. Guo Ling laughed coldly. "Your inherent skill has been crippled, and you want to harm me with your trash strength. I have a protective spirit armor." Long Fei grinned. "Retard." Rumble. Rumble. Guo Ling's body suddenly exploded. Half of his body exploded, half of the wound was gone, then another explosion followed. The remaining half of his body also exploded. Half his body was gone. When his HP fell, so did his blood. The two fists were instantly killed. Furthermore, after the two fists were thrown out, Long Fei did not spare Guo Ling another glance, because he was definitely going to die. Long Fei did not want to waste time talking to him, he just wanted to kill him with a single punch. The entire audience was surprised. Too fast. It was so fast that many people had not finished their preparations yet. In their hearts, they were all thinking about how Guo Ling would ravage Long Fei like this, and how he would be humiliated, but in any case, the situation was too fast for his brain to accept. What was going on? He was completely stupefied. Even a few elders were stunned. Seeing Guo Ling's body explode in two in an instant, they wanted to stop him but it was too late. Just as everyone was in a daze, the system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Guo Ling for obtaining 25,000 experience, 2,500 holy power value, and 1 metamorphic energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the golden silkworm spirit armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining release metamorphic energy value, golden silkworm spirit armor. Long Fei didn't even think about it. He wanted to give something to Flower, but he couldn't possibly give Guo Ling something. Furthermore, the golden silkworm spirit armor was not even comparable to Lin Ling Jiao, so how could Long Fei take it out? After the metamorphic energy value was channeled into his body, it became completely different. Ding. Implantation of metamorphic energy value. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Golden Dragon Violent Armor. The system beep descended. Long Fei immediately opened up the system and looked at the properties of the Gold Dragon Armor, his eyes flashing with light. Amazing, this thing has defense, it can also unleash powerful force, and most importantly, it has the power of the Gold Dragon. Awesome. Long Fei was secretly excited in his heart. However, everyone around him was looking at him. The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted slightly, and said with unparalleled dominance, "What are you looking at? Whoever is not happy, I will challenge them again tomorrow, and each day, I will challenge them. Long Fei is my man. If anyone dares to snatch from me, I will cripple them." The entire hall was silent. Chapter 1787, On the Way to the Hall of the Underworld. Chapter 1787, On the Way to the Hall of the Underworld. The two of them were from the Intrepid group. Long Fei walked down the stage, Bawang Hua immediately went forward and fiercely kissed Long Fei. The entire audience was in an uproar. The hearts of countless young men shattered once again. However, this time, not many people dared to speak. If Guo Ling was instantly killed, how many outer sect room of martial arts training could be his match? However, Guo Ling's identity was very special. He was a disciple who was focused on nurturing and this year's 10 sects exchanges preparatory disciple, yet he was killed just like that. Room of martial arts training had to take responsibility. They couldn't afford it. Immediately, several elders stopped Long Fei at the same time and shouted loudly, "You cannot leave." Long Fei did not speak. Bawang Hua took the lead and said, "Elder Yu, why can't he leave? You saw it just now, he signed the life and death agreement, he did not violate any laws. I don't care if it's law or not, since Guoling died in his hands, he can't leave. An elder shouted. Long Fei slightly smiled. You want to stop me? It's not that we want to stop you, but we can't afford to take on this responsibility. You must give the above an explanation. An elder said. The explanation is all on that life and death contract. Just take him and report it to the higher-ups. Long Fei said. If it was outside, with his personality, Guoling would have died 10 or 8 times already. The reason he didn't kill him was because he was afraid of provoking unnecessary trouble. After signing the life and death contract, life and death would be decided by the heavens. Even if he went to God Rare Sect's sect leader, he could still excuse himself. The life and death agreement is true, but you have to follow us to the inner sect. Guoling is a disciple that is being specially groomed, his death will definitely lead to punishment. An elder said. Long Fei laughed. Why should I explain myself? Didn't you guys see it clearly? These elders were all cunning foxes and did not want to take on this responsibility. After all, this life and death battle had occurred right under their noses, and they had a responsibility that they could not shirk. They wanted to blame all of it on Long Fei. Long Fei, we are the elders of the room of martial arts training, and you are just a nominal disciple. Whatever we want you to do, you have to do. An elder lost his patience and shouted. Long Fei said, Firstly, you are an elder of the room of martial arts training, what does it have to do with me? Secondly, I have to do whatever you want me to do. Am I your father? How dare you? The 2 elders shouted at the same time, Brat, this is the room of martial arts training, you cannot be arrogant. Long Fei laughed, I'm still being arrogant, why are you biting me? If you have the guts, try biting it and see if you can bite it or not. He wasn't afraid in the slightest. An elder shouted, Where is the law enforcement hall? The space between Ba Wanghua's eyebrows tightened. Long Fei gently held her hand, and lightly said, Don't worry. And then, several law enforcement disciples walked out. Long Fei, you have to account for this matter to the higher-ups, you have to go. A law enforcement disciple said. The law enforcement hall was a special hall. If he were to go against them, the consequences would be dire. Long Fei still wanted to stay in God Rare Sect. After all, he had yet to find the answer to many of the questions. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, Since that's the case, then let's go. Ba Wanghua immediately grabbed Long Fei's arm and started to worry. Long Fei took out a space ring and handed it over to the Ba Wanghua, saying, There's something inside that I want to give you. Wear it right after I leave, you'll definitely like it. Finished. Long Fei slightly said, Let's go. The law enforcement hall was courteous to Long Fei, but they did not escort him back. Several elders were whispering something behind the disciples of law enforcement hall. We cannot shirk our responsibility for this matter. If Elder of Inner House finds out that it happened right under our noses, we will. What's even more? We also want to save him, but how can we save him in that sort of situation? He's too fast. Exactly. We don't have time to react. No one can be saved. Now is not the time to talk about this. The problem is if we push all the blame onto that brat. The elder who spoke was holding a life and death contract in his hand. Suddenly, his gaze sharpened as he said faintly, If it's not for this life and death contract. The few elders narrowed their eyes. He is only a nominal disciple. His status is low and no one will speak up for him. We can call him dark, so. What about the law enforcement disciples? Don't worry about that, there's no money that can't be done in this world. In addition, we have the backing of the great elder, hey. Ha! Ha ha ha. The few elders came to an agreement. Moreover, an elder quietly left. The life and death contract that Long Fei and Guoling signed was instantly destroyed, and Long Fei did not know about any of this. After passing through a long flight of stairs, an hour later, the inner court was much more extravagant. The disciples of Law Enforcement Hall rang the bell and a few disciples came forward to receive the bell. A disciple of the Law Enforcement Hall said to Long Fei, Now, they will bring you to the inner hall. We do not have the qualifications. Come with us. Long Fei followed behind them and walked forward. After walking for more than 10 minutes, he felt that something was wrong. The path was obviously not the main path. Logically speaking, the main path should lead to the inner hall. However, the path was clearly curved. Long Fei could not help but ask, "Senior brother, where are we going?" One of the disciples turned around and looked at Long Fei, laughed coldly half a sentence, and said, "Where are you going?" "On the way to the King of Hell Palace." "Heh! What do you mean?" Long Fei frowned. Another disciple said with a smile, "It means that you are about to die." Ha ha ha. The four of them laughed at the same time. At this moment, Long Fei clenched his fists. The four disciples immediately felt the energy in Long Fei's body surge, and sneered, "Brat, behave yourself in front of us, otherwise, this old man will have you meet the King of Hell in advance." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei's fists fiercely smashed down. Rumble. A sonic boom sounded out. At the same time, a dazzling electric light flashed as it shot out in an instant. Thunder tremor. Boom, boom, boom. Powerful vibrations and thunderbolts wreaked havoc. The four disciples were caught off guard, and were shaken until Zhong Li became unsteady. His entire body was covered with thunder and lightning, and the electricity made his body go numb. At this moment, Long Fei quickly jumped away. F***CK, don't let this kid escape. Quick, catch him. Don't worry about anything after you catch him. Kill him first. The four of them recovered and quickly chased after Long Fei. Desperate Man slightly said, "Do you need my help?" Long Fei shook his head and said, "No need for now. I want to know who wants to kill me. We have to figure this out." Thus, Long Fei ran towards the inner sect hall. Chapter 1788, All of You Must Die. Chapter 1788, All of You Must Die. Someone wanted to kill him? Is it because of Outer Door Great Presbyter Ma Fenglei? Was it because of Fang Tianhan? No matter what, Long Fei wanted to understand everything. Because maybe hiding this super boss behind the scenes was Long Fei's goal. However, Long Fei's first thought should not be that of the God Rare Sect's master, Zhong Sanqian. If he really wanted him to die, there would definitely be no one else in the God Rare Sect who would keep him alive. Long Fei wanted to know who it was. He only needed to take a look to know who this person was. The boss cannot be hidden. It was because of the light emitted from his body. Long Fei rushed towards the main hall of the inner sect at full speed. The four disciples behind him were frowning. A mere 9-star cultivator dares to act so impudently in front of us? Brat, don't get caught by me. Otherwise, I will make you die an incomparably miserable death. Quickly chase. The main hall is up ahead. The four of them were in a hurry. Long Fei muttered in his heart, "I have to hurry up and activate the blasting fist's level increase. The hurricane burst boxing is too damned. Level 3 blasting fist should be a bit stronger, right?" When Long Fei thought about the first level up of the blasting fist, he felt that it had instantly stopped cooling. The current hurricane burst boxing was just a bit away from leveling up. If he were to fuse the thunder pulse, the hurricane burst boxing would also level up. At the same time, it would end its cooldown. No rush. Long Fei thought in his heart. His cultivation method was completely not enough for the blasting fist to devour. Right now, there was only Leisian left. If he ate it again, then there would really be nothing left. Today you made me look so miserable. Don't give me a chance, or else it will be your end. Long Fei felt unwell in his heart. At the same time, he saw the Great Hall. Long Fei immediately shouted, "Help, someone is chasing after me." Before he could finish his words, right in front of the palace, two elders stood there. There was a cold smile on his face. Seeing that, Long Fei's heart sank. Damn, is this an inner sect or a boss nest? The two elders in front of the hall were glowing with a golden light. The name on top of his head was also blood red. This was clearly a boss that would take the initiative to attack. The fact that there were two bosses in the first place made Long Fei secretly excited. These two bosses did not look like they were the strongest bosses, but rather, they were smaller, and there would definitely be a stronger and more powerful superboss behind them. The 4 disciples quickly chased after him. The 2 elders also launched a pincer attack. Long Fei's heart sank, he's trying to force my enlargement stroke. The idea moved. He held on to the thunder pulse art tightly, ready to merge at any time. Boom. A buzzing sound could be heard from not far away. The Grand Master is here. As soon as he finished, the 6 of them were shocked. The 4 disciples looked at the 2 elders' eyes and quickly moved away. The 2 elders did not stop, but shouted loudly, "Outer disciples actually dare to trespass into the inner sect, they are courting death." Even though they knew that the Grand Master was about to arrive, they did not stop. It was to kill. Stop. With an explosive sound, a figure stood in front of Long Fei before his voice fell, and the aura on his body fiercely bounced away. A powerful force charged forward. The 2 elders were forcefully knocked away. The afterimages of Zhong Sanqian seemed to be illusions, overlapping at different levels, as though there were tens of thousands of them. This speed, and this power, made people gasp in shock. The desperate man in the dark was also slightly shocked. Zhong Sanqian said slightly, "Elder Qin, what happened to Elder Yu?" He forcefully stabilized himself and said, "Sect Master, this person barged into the inner sect. When Elder Yu and I saw him, we wanted him to stop, but who would have known that not only would this thief not stop, he even attacked us. Speak. Why did you come to the inner court? Who the hell are you?" The 2 elders shouted. Long Fei laughed and said, "The older I am, the more formidable my mouth is. I always thought that my eloquence was unrivaled, I never thought that there would be someone stronger." Zhong Sanqian turned around to look at Long Fei, and asked, "What are you doing here?" Long Fei looked around and said, "Sect Master, if I told you that I want to take a look at the inner sect, would you believe me?" At this moment, an elder who was leading his 4 disciples from a moment ago ran up and said while pretending to be out of breath, "Kid, let's see where you can run to now. Capture him." The 4 disciples immediately smiled sinisterly and rushed forward. Long Fei's heart trembled. The clan elder replied, reporting to sect leader, "This child killed the outer sect room of martial arts training's important disciple, Guoling, and then escaped. The outer sect law enforcement disciples chased him all the way to the inner sect, and were later taken over by us. I never expected that he would actually escape to the main hall." Guoling. Didn't he train the disciples that are participating in the 10 sects exchange this year? He was actually killed. How preposterous. Brat, tell me, exactly what sect spy are you? And I heard that you were captured by the people of the Xiao Yarrow Palace, then you ran away. With just your strength alone, you can escape from the hands of the Xiao Yarrow Palace? I think you're someone from the Xiao Yarrow Palace. All of a sudden, right and wrong was reversed, and black and white changed. Moreover, Long Fei was a little confused. He felt that he was just a little naive. This world was too evil. Zhong Sanqian stared at Long Fei, and said with a heavy voice, "Long Fei, was it what they said? Sect Master, how could our words be false? Yeah, I saw it with my own eyes. It looks like this kid has come from a bad place. Now that the God Rare sect is in a mess and he killed the outer door presbyter the moment he arrived, this kind of disciple must not be allowed to live." Long Fei looked at Zhong Sanqian. In his heart, he already somewhat understood that this sect master's power wasn't very great. If he was the leader of the God Rare sect, who would dare to talk to him like that? These elders did not place him in their eyes at all. Long Fei shook his head. "Sect leader, do you believe that I am innocent?" "Humph. Kid, are you unable to justify your crimes? A mere nominal disciple trespassing into the inner court is a capital offense. Why are you wasting your breath on him? Just take him down." Several disciples stepped forward again. The few elders sneered coldly. Long Fei stood in place without moving an inch. Instead, he looked at Zhong Sanqian and said faintly, "Sect Master, I didn't do anything, but if someone were to touch me..." He did not continue. It was not that Long Fei did not want to defend himself, but under such circumstances, his excuse would be useless. However, he was not a lamb, and not anyone could step on him. "Kid, What if I touch you? Heh. Do you want to backhand? Then, you should consider your own strength. You dog, try to overestimate your capabilities. Long Fei's gaze swept across the entire competition grounds, and said softly, all of you will die. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.